Hello there, Teeny Boy here, and welcome back to Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Now we are done with the first Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Now we are going on to Mass Effect 2 Legendary Edition. I had to install this thing because I didn't install it at first, and there you go, there's Mass Effect 3 not installed, so I'll have to, but we've got plenty of time to install that. Here we go. This is my personal favourite Mass Effect of the three, because even though I haven't played number 3, I've seen enough of it to know I don't like it very much. No, not the... Oh, yes. Oh, that's that music. You might not be able to hear it very well right there, but... That little beat there in the background, that is the undertone for one of the best soundtracks in gaming. And we're going to get to it. You've heard a little bit of it in the early episodes of Mass Effect 1. This is a version of it, but it's not quite the same one. Mass Effect 2, here we go. New game. Yeah, I've seen enough of Mass Effect 3 to know that, not gameplay-wise, but story-wise, especially towards the ending, not quite my game, but we'll get there. We'll get there. New game. Import ME1 character. Save 2. Oh, yes. Save what it will be. Combat difficulty, I think there's only one thing for it: insanity. This difficulty is intended for players seeking the ultimate challenge. Enemies are tenacious, react quickly, have heavily upgraded weapons, and use their powers mercilessly. This mode is only recommended for players who have completed the game on hardcore difficulty. Tough. Auto level up? No. Subtitles? Yes. Squad power usage? On. Autosave? On. Boom. Name? John Shepard. Rank? 55. Soldier? Yep. Commander Shepard followed the Paragon path. For the most part, not always. Erdnot Rex survived the mission on Vermeer, so yes, you can shoot him. Missing in action? No, it's KIA, mate, come on. Kaden Alenko was killed on Vermeer. Council history. The Council was lost during the attack on the Citadel, unfortunately, but that's what happened.
Shepard did everything right. More than we could have hoped for.
Commander Shepard uncovered the truth.
And still, it's not enough.
We're at war. No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack.
But they're sending him to fight Geth. Geth. We both know they're not the real threat. The Reapers are still out there.
And it's up to us to stop them.
The Council will never trust Cerberus. They'll never accept our help, even after everything humanity has accomplished. But Shepard, they'll follow him. He's a hero, a bloody icon. But he's just one man. If we lose Shepard, humanity might well follow.
Then see to it that we don't lose him.
Disengaging FTL drives. Emission sinks active. Board is green. We are running silent.
We're wasting our time. 4 days searching up and down this sector, and we haven't found any sign of Geth activity.
3 ships went missing here in the past month. Something happened to them.
My money's on slavers. The Terminus system is crawling with them.
Picking up something on the long-range scanner. Unidentified vessel. Looks like a cruiser.
Doesn't match any known signatures.
cruiser is changing course. Now on intercept trajectory.
Can't be. Stealth systems are engaged. There's no way a Geth ship could possibly...
It's not the Geth. Brace for evasive maneuvers!
Presley!
Kinetic barriers down. Multiple hull breaches. Weapons offline. Somebody get that fire out.
Shepard!
Yes, I'm well aware.
Is ready for launch.
Will the Alliance get here in time?
We don't need them. They'll be here. Sure. Let's go.
The Alliance won't abandon us. We just need to hold on. Get everyone onto the escape shuttle.
Joker's
And that includes you.
He won't evacuate.
Oh, yes, he will.
I'm not leaving either.
Yes, you are. Go.
I need you to get the crew onto the evac shuttle. I'll take care of Joker.
Let's go.
Shepard,
We are. Go.
You know what you're doing.
Now.
You trust me to do what I need to, don't you?
everybody in! Go, go, go!
Whoever this is has introduced themselves as too much of a threat for them to.
Mayday! Mayday! This is SSV Normandy!
Right, come on, get a Joker to the cockpit. Whoever this is has introduced themselves as more of a threat than they should have.
Come on, baby, hold together. Hold together.
Oh, decompressed. I hope you're alright back here, Joker. There you go. Can we get a glimpse of whoever it is that's chasing us? Nope. Okie doke. Right, well, let's not walk into a wall. Let's go this way. Come on, Joker. Time to get you out of there. Can we even get him out of there through his force field? Well, we'll figure it out. That's for sure. Talk to Joker. Come on.
Come on, Joker. We have to get out of here.
No, I won't abandon the Normandy. I can still save her.
No, we can't. But we can save you.
Normandy's lost. Going down with the ship won't change that.
Yeah, okay. Help me up.
Yep, that was quick and easy. Let's go.
They're coming around for another attack.
Well, they can try. You do your thing, and I'll do mine. Don't you worry about that, Chief. Come on, up you get.
Watch the arm.
Nope. I care more about you than I do your arm. So you're on the ground. Well, that's us without a way out.
Commander Shepard, has been recovered. The Lazarus Project will proceed as planned.
He's reacting to outside stimuli, showing an awareness of his surroundings.
Of course I am.
Miranda, I think he's waking up.
Hi, who are you? Where am I? What's going on? Who are you?
He's not ready yet. Give him the sedative. Shepard, don't try to move. Just lie still. Try to stay calm.
Heart rate's still climbing. Brain activity is off the charts.
Where am I and what is going on?
It's not working.
Another dose. Now.
Heart rate dropping. Stats falling back into normal range. That was too close. We almost lost him.
Lost me to what?
Run the numbers again.
Hi, what's going on?
Wake up, Commander.
Oh, now you want me awake.
Shepard, do you hear me? Get out of that bed now. This facility is under attack.
Come on, Shepard.
Shepard,
Let's get moving.
the scars aren't healed, but I need you to get moving. This facility is under attack.
I assume that I have something to do with this.
On the other side of the room. Hurry.
Okay, alright, cool, let's get started. Let's move.
Grab the pistol and armor from the locker. Don't have time to wait
Okay.
around.
Oh, there we go, yep.
This pistol doesn't have a thermal clip.
It's a med bay. We'll get you a clip from. Damn it.
Pretty sure I'm pretty ready for
By the door and going to blow. Get behind cover.
Okay, alright.
Keep your head
Let's
down,
go.
Shepard.
Oh, there we go.
From the blast.
Yep. Alright, let's go. Exit cover.
Attacking security trying to kill you. Look for a thermal clip for your pistol.
Yeah, mate, let's get it. Boom, reload. Nice.
Looks like they set up a barricade to try holding the mechs off.
Alright, Max. Why is that? What's going on?
Out.
Where's my... Oh, there's my health.
Need to get
Good
to
up.
the shuttles.
Alright, reload. Nice. So, this game has has much better shooting mechanics. Alright, nice. But ammo is now a thing, not cooldown. Cooldown is very rarely a thing. Good up.
Enemies are closing in on your position. Take cover.
Okay, doke. Run. Got him. Nice. Nope. Whoa. Right, heal up. Come on. Hang on, hang on, hang on. I need my shields to recharge. No, let's. There we go. Hang on. No, move. There we go. No, come on. I need you to get in cover. What are you doing? You do. Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. There we go, got one of them. Shields up. Nice, nice, nice. Shields up, shields up, shields up, shields up. Got him. Nice.
Nice work, Shepard. Coast is clear.
Yeah, you didn't think you were catching me off guard with that one, did you? Well, you caught me off guard, but you're not catching me with that. Alright, let's go. So. Oh, that's a big mech over there. Oh, you guys want to move? No, you're not going to take the thing out. Run.
Keep the mechs distracted for long.
Right, I need to go this way. First, I'll deal with any mechs that come my way. Don't you worry about that. Alright, let me see what's in here. Okay, cool. Right, so yeah, we don't have the big sprint anymore, but at least now we can sprint for longer. Let's go. Can't go through there. Let's keep going. Grenade launcher. Nice.
Get
See.
to the mechs. Use the grenade launcher to take them out.
Alright, boom. Let's go. Where are we? Here we go. This should be fun.
We've been spotted.
Take the elevator down one floor.
Yep, sure. Sounds like a plan. Let's go. Any more rounds? Nope. This guy. So elevator down 1 floor. Yeah, mate. Is there a button to quickly do this? Nope. All right. Storm through the fire. All right. Let's go. Oh, that worked. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We've got some comms interruptions. Okay. All right. You sort yourself out. I'm a trained soldier, mate. All right. Hacked. Whoa. Okay. That thing's explosive. Access data logs.
Progress is slow, but subject shows signs of recovery. Major organs are again functional, and there are signs of rudimentary neurological activity.
Rudimentary.
To accelerate the process, we've moved from simple organic reconstruction of the subject to biosynthetic fusion. Initial results show promise.
We're full of cybernetics. Synthetic. Okay. So they brought us back with cybernetics. Okie doke. Service data logs.
Update. The cost of this project is astronomical. Over 4 billion credits so far. But nobody seems to care that we've gone over budget.
Okay.
I don't know where the boss gets all this money. Maybe it's better not to know. I just wish he'd kick a little more in my direction once in a while.
Well, that money brought me back to life, it would seem, so maybe that's a good thing. Salvage recovered, cool. I didn't get a chance to read that. What do I have in the codex in a minute? We'll take a minute to read this, shall we? Aliens Council Races.
The Asari were the first species to discover the Citadel. When the Solarians arrived, it was the Asari who proposed the establishment of the Citadel Council to maintain peace throughout the galaxy. Since then, the Asari have served as the mediators and centrists of the Council. An all-female race, the Asari reproduce through a form of parthenogenesis. They can attune their nervous system to that
That's not what they said.
of any gender and of any species to reproduce. This capability has led to the unseemly and inaccurate rumors about Asari promiscuity.
Is this exactly the same log as before?
Years, passing through 3 stages of life. In the maiden stage, they wander restlessly, seeking new knowledge and experience. When the matron stage begins, they meld with interesting partners to produce their offspring. This ends when they reach the matriarch stage, where they assume the roles of leaders and counselors.
Are these going to be the same entries as? I mean, I'll read them anyway. But are these going to be the same entries as before?
The second species to join the Citadel, the Solarians, are warm-blooded amphibians with a
these sound familiar.
metabolism. Solarians think fast, talk fast, and move fast. To Solarians, other species seem sluggish and dull-witted. Unfortunately, their metabolic speed leaves them with a relatively short lifespan. Solarians over the age of 40 are a rarity. The Solarians were responsible for advancing the development of the primitive Krogan species to use as soldiers during the Rachni Wars. They were also behind the creation of the genophage bioweapon the Turians used to quell the Krogan rebellion several centuries later. Solarians are known for their observational capability and non-linear thinking. This manifests as an aptitude for research and espionage. They are constantly experimenting and inventing, and it is generally accepted that they always know more than they are letting on.
Most likely. Turians.
Roughly 1,200 years ago, the Turians were invited to join the Citadel Council to fulfill the role of galactic peacekeepers. The Turians have the largest fleet in Citadel space, and they make up the single largest portion of the Council's military forces. As their territory and influence has spread, the Turians have come to rely on the Solarians for military intelligence and the Asari for diplomacy. Despite a somewhat colonial attitude towards the rest of the galaxy, the ruling hierarchy understands they would lose more than they would gain if the other 2 races were ever removed. Turians come from an autocratic society that values discipline and possesses a strong sense of personal and collective honor. There is lingering animosity between Turians and humans over the First Contact War of 2157, which is known as the Relay 314 incident to the Turians. Officially, however, the 2 species are allies, and they enjoy civil, if cool, diplomatic relations.
Yep, okay, so we already know all that. That's just from before.
50,000 years ago, the Protheans were the only spacefaring species in the galaxy.
Alright.
They vanished in a swift galactic extinction. Only the legacy of their empire remains. They are believed to have built the mass relays and the Citadel, which have allowed numerous species to explore and expand throughout the galaxy. Prothean ruins are found on worlds across the galaxy. While surprisingly intact for their age, functioning examples of Prothean paleotechnology are rare. Time and generations of looters have picked their dead cities and derelict stations clean. Some believe the Protheans meddled in the evolution of younger races. The Hanar homeworld of Kaje, for example, shows clear evidence of former Prothean occupation. The presence of a former Prothean observation post on Mars has caused a rebirth of interventionary evolutionists among humans. These individuals believe the god myths of ancient civilizations are misremembered encounters with aliens.
Possibly, I mean, I don't know. So yeah, these just seem to be copy and paste. These are copy and paste sound bites and text logs from the first game, but we'll see what we have here.
In the early 2160s, the Alliance began aggressive colonization of worlds in the Skyllian Verge, much to the dismay of the Batarians, who had been developing the region for several decades. In 2171, the Batarians petitioned the Council to declare the Verge a zone of Batarian interest. The Council refused, however, declaring unsettled worlds in the region open to human colonization. In protest, the Batarians closed their Citadel embassy and severed official diplomatic relations with the Council, effectively becoming a rogue state. They instigated a proxy war in the Verge by funneling money and weapons to criminal organizations, urging them to strike at human colonies. Hostilities peaked with the Skyllian Blitz of 2176, an attack on the human capital of Elysium by Batarian-funded pirates and slavers. In 2178, the Alliance retaliated with a crushing assault on the moon of Torfin, long used as a staging base by Batarian-backed criminals. In the aftermath, the Batarians retreated into their own systems and are now rarely seen in Citadel space.
We defended the Skyllian Blitz. Oh, we defended. Anyway.
A Citadel species native to the high-gravity world Dakuna. They are massive creatures, standing on 4 muscular legs for increased stability. Elcor moves slowly, an evolved response to an environment where a fall can be lethal. This has colored their psychology, making them deliberate and conservative. Elcor's speech is ponderous and monotone. Among themselves, scent, slight movements, and sub-vocalized infrasound convey shades of meaning that make a human smile seem as subtle as a fireworks display. Since their subtlety can lead to misunderstandings with other species, the Elcor often go out of their way to clarify when they are being sarcastic, amused, or angry. Dakuna's high gravity impedes mountain formation. Most of the world consists of flat, open plains, which prehistoric Elcor wandered across in small family bands. Modern Elcor still prefer open sky, and can become restless and uncomfortable on long starship journeys.
I just realised I don't think that I created the Elcor in Stellaris. I've gotten everybody else: Batarians, Geth, Hanar, Krogan. I'm pretty sure even for the Batarians, I created a sub-race beneath them, which we meet in this game. Yeah, no, I've got the... I don't think I've actually created the Elcor, though.
The Geth are a humanoid race of networked AIs. They were created by the Quarians 300 years ago as tools of labor and war. When the Geth showed signs of self-evolution, the Quarians attempted to exterminate them. The Geth won the resulting war. This example has led to legal, systematic repression of artificial intelligences in galactic society. The Geth possess a unique distributed intelligence. An individual has rudimentary animal instincts, but as their numbers and proximity increase, the apparent intelligence of each individual improves. In groups, they can reason, analyze situations, and use tactics, as well as any organic race. Geth space is located at the trailing end of the Perseus Arm, beyond the lawless Terminus systems. The Perseus Veil, an obscuring dark nebula of opaque gas and dust, lies between their space and the Terminus systems.
Yeah, so they are well and truly secluded. They're at the very edge of the galaxy. They're basically the most secluded race in the galaxy. They can do whatever they want in complete secret. Nobody can even see them. No, the rest of the galaxy can do whatever they want and never encounter the Geth, up until the Geth started attacking Citadel-controlled, up until Mass Effect 1, basically, where the Geth decided to come out of hiding and start attacking Citadel-controlled territory.
Citadel species known for excessive politeness. They speak with scrupulous precision and take offense at improper language. Hanar that expect to deal with other species take special courses to help them unlearn their tendency to take offense at improper speech. All Hanar have two names. The face name is known to the world. The soul name is kept for use among close friends and relations. Hanar never refer to themselves in the first person in conversation with someone they know on a face name basis. To do so is considered egotistical, so instead they refer to themselves as this one, or the impersonal it. Their homeworld, Kaje, has 90% ocean cover and orbits an energetic white star, resulting in a permanent blanket of cloud. Due to the presence of Prothean ruins on the world, many Hanar worship them, and Hanar myths often speak of an elder race that civilized them by teaching them language.
Okie doke. Alright. I need to make sure that I set my Hanar and Stellaris to an ocean planet, because I'm not sure that I did.
The Krogan evolved in a hostile and vicious environment. Until the invention of gunpowder weapons, eaten by predators was still the #1 cause of Krogan fatalities. Afterwards, it was death by gunshot. When the Solarians discovered them, the Krogan were a brutal, primitive species, struggling to survive a self-inflicted nuclear winter. The Solarians culturally uplifted them, teaching them to use and build modern technology, so they could serve as soldiers in the Rachni War. Liberated from the harsh conditions of their homeworld, the quick-breeding Krogan experienced an unprecedented population explosion. They began to colonize nearby worlds. Even though these worlds were already inhabited, the Krogan rebellions lasted nearly a century, only ending when the Turians unleashed the Genophage, a Solarian-developed bioweapon that crushed all Krogan resistance. The Genophage makes only 1 in 1,000 pregnancies viable, and today the Krogan are a slowly dying breed.
Oh, okay, you're not going to finish that last bit? Okay. Understandably, the Krogan harbour a grudge against all of the species, especially the Turians. I don't understand why they didn't, I guess that last bit was added on, because I don't remember that being in the Codex log, but, anyway. So yeah, the Krogans were essentially, when the Krogans were given space travel, the ability to when the Krogans were given FTL technology, they were essentially at the same point that we're at now as a society. Like, we could tomorrow we could declare World War III and cause a nuclear winter. That could literally happen right now. They are after. They were given FTL technology after a nuclear winter, so they're pretty much at the same social and technological point as us before they were given FTL technology, and they just simply were not ready for it as a society. And they, and most Krogans basically, that led to the Krogan rebellions. They tried to essentially take over the galaxy. Like, yeah, man. And the reason why I bring that up is because of something that a character brings up in this game that we'll get to way later. Just remember that I said that.
Driven from their home system by the Geth nearly 3 centuries ago, most Quarians now live aboard the Migrant Fleet, a flotilla of 50,000 vessels ranging in size from passenger shuttles to mobile space stations. Home to 17 million Quarians, the flotilla understandably has scarce resources. Because of this, each Quarian must go on a rite of passage known as the pilgrimage when they come of age. They leave the fleet and only return once they have found something of value they can bring back to their people. Other species tend to look down on the Quarians for creating the Geth and for the negative impact their fleet has when it enters a system. This has led to many myths and rumors about the Quarians, including the belief that underneath their clothes and breathing masks, they are actually cybernetic creatures, a combination of organic and synthetic parts.
Right. That's, oof. Can I just point out, 50,000 ships. I mean, some of those, passenger shuttles, sure. Just you wait until we get to Mass Effect 3. The bloody power scaling, the bloody... Mate, the way the power scale goes, like, backwards and forwards, basically, for whatever scene they want to create is ridiculous. Like, you can't play with numbers like this. 50,000 ships, get out of here. Even if you want to say 40,000 of those are just basically taxis, like, come on, that's still 10,000 ships, some of them being mobile space stations. Get out of here. This is a new codex log that we've not had before.
A myth common to several cultures in the galaxy. Reapers were imagined to be space monsters who consumed entire stars. Archaeologists and mythologists attempting to uncover sources for such myths have yielded little, except interstellar religious themes of all-consuming devils common to primitive cultures.
Okay, that doesn't really give us anything on the Reapers, does it? But okay, I suppose that's basically not telling us what we know from the first Mass Effect. That's telling us where the galaxy is in terms of their understanding. We know what happened with Sovereign and the Reapers because we saw the beacons and stuff. But in terms of the evidence that was left around for things like universities and other like science expeditions and archaeologists and things like that, in terms of anything that people can actively investigate, this is all that evidence has turned up. Like, nobody else besides Shepard and crew was in a position to use the beacons. Nobody else. Everything else besides the beacons. This is all that's actually been turned up towards the Reapers, apparently, because nobody believes us when we tell them what we saw. Volus.
The Volus are a member species of the Citadel with their own embassy, but they are also a client race of the Turians. Centuries ago, they were voluntarily absorbed into the hierarchy, effectively trading their mercantile prowess for Turian military protection. Erun, their homeworld, lies far beyond the normal life zone of its star. However, the world has a high-pressure greenhouse atmosphere that traps enough heat to support an ammonia-based biochemistry. As a result, the Volus must wear pressure suits and breathers when dealing with other species, as conventional nitrogen-oxygen air mixtures are poisonous to them, and in the low-pressure atmospheres tolerable to most species, their flesh will actually split open. Volus culture is tribal, bartering lands and even people to gain status. This culture of exchange inclines them to economic pursuits. It was the Volus who authored the Unified Banking Act, and they continue to monitor and balance the Citadel economy.
Yeah, so like I was saying with the Reaper's log, basically, wait, can I extend that? No. Okay, right, alright, so, no, stop, right, okay, no. So basically what I was saying there with the Reaper's log is that the Codex logs don't tell you anything that isn't supposed to be common knowledge. Like, so that very limited explanation of the Reapers is basically all anybody in the galaxy actually knows besides Shepard about the Reapers. Like, we just know, it's like, yeah, we know what the Reapers are because we spoke to Sovereign and we spoke to Vigil, but in terms of everything that any active archaeologists and investigations have turned up, they're basically just myths, as far as anybody can tell. Like, nobody even knows. There's not even like a consistent myth. There's loads of different cultures with different types of myths about them. Citadel and Galactic Government.
The Citadel is an ancient deep space station, presumably constructed by the Protheans. Since the Prothean extinction, numerous species have come to call the Citadel home. It serves as the political, cultural, and financial capital of the galactic community. To represent their interests, most species maintain embassies on the Presidium, the Citadel's inner ring. The Citadel Tower in the center of the Presidium holds the Citadel Council chambers. Council affairs often have far-reaching effects on the rest of the galactic community. 5 arms, known as the Wards, extend from the Presidium. Their inner surfaces have been built into cities, populated by millions of inhabitants from across the galaxy. The Citadel is virtually indestructible. If attacked, the station can close its arms to form a solid, impregnable shell. For as long as the station has existed, an enigmatic race called the Keepers has maintained it.
I wonder what's happened with the Keepers after the Battle of the Citadel. Like, did Shepard have any? Was Shepard able to tell the Like, did he tell Anderson and Udina about what the Keepers were? Like, so the Keepers aren't controlled by the Reapers anymore because they were modified by the Protheans to resist the signal. So did we just leave them to do their thing? Did we kill them all? Did we? Don't know. After Sovereign was the only Reaper to figure out that the Keepers weren't. Yeah, Sovereign was the only Reaper to figure out that the Keepers were no longer under the Reaper control, were they? So if the Reapers were to somehow come back, then again, I'm sure that they would figure out that the Keepers weren't responding to their signals before they left, at least. Anyway, so I don't know. Spectres.
Spectres are agents from the Office of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance, and answer only to the Citadel Council. They are elite military operatives, granted the authority to deal with threats to peace and stability in whatever way they deem necessary. They operate independently or in groups of 2 or 3. Some are empathetic peacekeepers, resolving disputes through diplomacy. Others are cold-blooded assassins, ruthlessly dispatching problem individuals. All get the job done one way or another, often operating outside the bounds of galactic law. The Spectres were founded after the Solarians joined the Council. For many years they operated in secrecy as backroom problem solvers. Only after the Krogan rebellions did their activities become publicized. Assignment of a Spectre is less contentious than a military deployment, but makes it clear that the Council is concerned about a situation.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the reason why the Spectres came out after the Krogan rebellions was because, I think, was it Asari Commandos or was it Asari Spectres that they took position in certain Krogan space stations to essentially destabilize the Krogans after. As soon as the Krogans declared war, it was like the Asari had predicted that they were going to do it, and so they'd send agents to the different space stations to essentially destroy them soon after the Krogans had declared war. Or maybe the Solarians had something to do with that, I'm not sure. Ships and vehicles.
The Systems Alliance space vehicle Normandy is a prototype starship created as a joint human and Turian venture. A frigate optimized for reconnaissance missions, the vessel uses state-of-the-art stealth technology. Most ships generate tremendous heat that is easily detectable against the absolute zero background of space. The Normandy, however, temporarily sinks this heat within its hull. Because of exterior hull refrigeration, the ship can travel undetected for hours, or drift passively for days of covert observation. That heat sinking carries the risk of cooking the crew alive if the stored heat is not eventually radiated. Also contributing to stealth is the Normandy's revolutionary Tantalus drive, a Mass Effect core double the standard size. The Tantalus generates mass concentrations that the Normandy falls into, allowing it to move without the use of heat-emitting thrusters.
Okay, alright, interesting. I don't really have much to say about that. Technology.
Biotics is the ability of rare individuals to manipulate dark energy and create Mass Effect fields through the use of electrical impulses from the brain. Intense training and surgically implanted amplifiers are necessary for a biotic to produce Mass Effect fields powerful enough for practical use. The relative strength of biotic abilities varies greatly among species and with each individual. There are 3 branches of biotics. Telekinesis uses mass-lowering fields to levitate or impel objects. Mass-raising kinetic fields are used to block or pin objects. Spatial distortion uses rapidly shifting mass fields to shred objects. Most organic species are capable of developing biotic abilities, though there are risks involved. Biotics are the result of an in utero exposure to element 0. This usually causes fatal cancers in the victim, but in rare cases, it coalesces into nodules within the fetus's developing nervous system.
Okay. Alright, the reason why I was pulling a face during all that was because it doesn't... I might bring this up in Mass Effect 3 towards the end, but it didn't mention Element 0 there until right at the end. It says manipulate dark energy. And I was sat there thinking, Hang on, I don't remember us mentioning dark energy in the Mass Effect 1. In the Mass Effect 1 Codex log. I just remember it mentioning EZO, which is what the next one is.
When subjected to an electrical current, the rare material dubbed Element Zero, or EZO, emits a dark energy field that raises or lowers the mass of all objects within it. This mass effect is used in countless ways, from generating artificial gravity to manufacturing high-strength construction materials. It is most prominently used to enable faster-than-light space travel. EZO is generated when solid matter, such as a planet, is affected by the energy of a star going supernova. The material is common in the asteroid debris that orbits neutron stars and pulsars. These are dangerous places to mine, requiring extensive use of robotics, telepresence, and shielding to survive the incredible radiation from the dead star. Only a few major corporations can afford the setup costs required to work these primary sources. Humanity discovered refined Element Zero at the Prothean Research Station on Mars, allowing them to create Mass Effect fields and develop FTL travel.
Cool. The material is common in star going supernova. Okay. What was I going to say? Yeah, telepresence. What does that mean? Okay. Mass Effect fields.
Element Zero can increase or decrease the mass of a volume of space-time when subjected to an electrical current. With a positive current, mass is increased. With a negative current, mass is decreased. The stronger the current, the greater the magnitude of the dark energy mass effect.
Okay.
In space, low mass fields allow FTL travel and inexpensive surface-to-orbit transit. High mass fields create artificial gravity and push space debris away from vessels. In manufacturing, low mass fields permit the creation of evenly blended alloys, while high-mass compaction creates dense, sturdy construction materials. The military makes extensive use of mobility-enhancing technologies, with Mass Effect utilizing fighting vehicles standard frontline issue in most military forces. Mass Effect fields are also essential in the creation of kinetic barriers or shields to protect against enemy fire.
Naturally, okay. So I wonder if we're close to cracking any new Mass Effect technology. Like, how far are we? Like, because the Reapers are overdue. So so every iteration in the galaxy usually reaches about the same, give or take, ish technological standard. With the Protheans getting very close to cracking Mass Effect technology, the mass relay technology. They essentially had the ability to make a small mass relay, as we saw at the end of Mass Effect 1. So, with now the Reapers are overdue, what new technology are we about to unlock? Are we getting any close with this? What are we on the cusp of here? Mass relays.
Mass relays are feats of Prothean engineering advanced far beyond the technology of any living species. They are enormous structures scattered throughout the stars and can create corridors of virtually mass-free space, allowing instantaneous transit between locations separated by years or even centuries of travel using conventional FTL drives.
Awesome.
Primary mass relays can propel ships thousands of light years, often from one spiral arm of the galaxy to another. However, they have fixed one-to-one connections. A primary relay connects to one other primary relay and nowhere else. Secondary relays can only propel ships across a few hundred light years. However, they are omnidirectional. A secondary relay can send a ship to any other relay within its limited range. There are many dormant primary relays whose corresponding twins have not yet been located. These are left inactive until their partner is charted, as established civilizations are unwilling to blindly open a passage that might connect them to a hostile species.
Yes, as a result of the Rachni War, because of how that happened. Omnitool.
Omnitools are handheld devices that combine a computer microframe, sensor analysis pack, and manufacturing fabricator. Versatile and reliable, an Omnitool can be used to analyze and adjust the functionality of most standard equipment, including weapons and armor, from a distance. The fabrication module can rapidly assemble small three-dimensional objects from common reusable industrial plastics, ceramics, and light alloys. This allows for field repairs and modifications to most standard items, as well as the reuse of salvaged equipment. Omni-tools
Just wait,
are
come on.
standard issue for soldiers and first-in colonists.
Okay, right, hang on, let me deal with this. Okay. Alright, okay, I think we're fine. I think we're fine. Get OBS back up. Cool. I think we're fine. Let's go. Weapons, armor, and equipment.
Medigel is a common medicinal salve used by paramedics, EMTs, and military personnel. It combines several useful applications: a local anesthetic, disinfectant, and clotting agent all in one. Once applied, the gel is designed to grip tight to flesh until subjected to a frequency of ultrasound. It is sealable against liquids, most notably blood, as well as contaminants and gases. The gel is a genetically engineered bioplasm created by the CERTA Foundation, a medical technology megacorp based on Earth. Technically, Medigel violates council laws against genetic engineering, but to date, it has proved far too useful to ban.
Yep, sounds like it. Secondary, oh my goodness. Okay, right, now we're going to read them all. Aliens, council races. Asari biology. Asari have a robust cellular regenerative system. While they do not heal faster than other species, Asari are known to reach 1,000 years of age. Although Asari have one gender, they are not asexual. And Asari are not asexual. No, because asexual is your sexuality, isn't it? Anyway, okay. An Asari provides 2 copies of her own genes to her offspring. The second set is altered in a unique process called melding. During melding, an Asari consciously attunes her nervous system to her partner's, sending and receiving electrical impulses directly through the skin. The partner can be another Asari or an alien of either gender. Effectively, the Asari and her partner briefly become one unified nervous system. Okay, interesting. This unique means of reproduction is the reason Asari are talented biotics. Their evolved ability to consciously control nerve impulses is very similar to biotic training. Asari believe that their offspring acquired the best qualities of the father from the melded genes, but evidence is anecdotal. The quote-unquote father, but what would be the father in that instance? Because I'm sat there thinking, like, wait, so does each Asari consider the other partner the father? That's what I don't get. It's like, well, because obviously the first question is, well, the father is like, well, the first question would be, you know, in most binary gendered species, it's the father is the male, obviously. But then you think, okay, but the Asari are all women, so the father would be the other partner. And you start there thinking, well, no, because the other partner would be the other partner to the other partner. You know what I mean? So you're like, wait, so who's the father? What? So in this connection between 2 Asari, which one gives the best quality genes? Anyway, let's not get too hung up on that. Asari pass through three climacteric life stages, marked by biochemical and physiological changes. The maiden stage begins at birth and is marked by the drive to explore and experience. Most young Asari are curious and restless. The matron stage of life begins around the age of 350, though it can be triggered earlier if the individual melds frequently. This period is marked by a desire to settle in one area and raise children. The matriarch stage begins around 700, or earlier if the individual melds rarely. Matriarchs become active in their community as sages and counselors, dispensing wisdom from centuries of experience. While each stage of life is marked by strong biological tendencies, individuals do make unexpected life choices. For example, there are maidens who stay close to home rather than explore, matrons who would rather work than build a family, and matriarchs who have no interest in community affairs. Yep, so obviously everybody's free thinking, everybody has their own interests, but these are just general trends. These are just general trends that different age ranges tend to exhibit, you know. Asari culture. Because of their long lifespan, Asari tend to have a long view, not common in other races. When they encounter a new species or situation, the Asari are more comfortable with an extended period of passive observation and study than immediate action. They are unfazed that some of their investments or decisions may not pay off for decades or centuries. Matriarchs can seem to make incomprehensible decisions, but their insight is evident when their carefully laid plans come to fruition. In interstellar relations, this long view manifests in an unspoken policy of centrism. The Asari instinctively seek to maintain stable balances of economic, political, and military power. Traditionally, Asari spread their influence through cultural domination and intellectual superiority. They invite new species of advanced development to join the galactic community, knowing that their ideals and beliefs will inevitably influence the existing culture. Okay, Asari government. The Asari came late to the concept of world government. For centuries, their homeworld of Thessia was dotted with loose confederacies of great republican cities. The closest earthly equivalent would be the ancient Mediterranean city-states. Since the Asari culture values consensus and accommodation, there was little impetus to form larger principalities. Rather than hoard resources, the Asari bartered freely. Rather than attack one another over differing philosophies, they sought to understand one another. Only in the information age did the city-states grow close. Communication over the internet evolved into an electronic democracy. Asari have no politicians or elections, but a free-wheeling, all-inclusive legislature that citizens can participate in at will. Policy debates take place at all hours of the day, in official chat rooms and forums moderated by specially programmed virtual intelligences. All aspects of policy are open to plebiscite at any time. In any given debate, the Asari tend to lend the most credence to the opinions of any matriarchs present, nearly always deferring to the experience of these millennia-old wise women. When someone's existed for like 800, 900 years, you would probably value their opinion more. It doesn't mean they're always going to be right, but you would think 900 years of experience would give you a pretty conclusive view of things, but, achieving consensus, you would hope so. You would hope so. But you never know. Achieving consensus through public debate may take too long in a crisis. In cases where prompt, decisive action is required, Asari defer to the wisdom of local matriarchs. Okay, so we've got Asari military doctrine. The Asari military resembles a collection of tribal warrior bands with no national structure. Each community organizes its own units as the locals see fit and elect a leader to command them. Units from populous cities are large and well equipped, while those from farm villages may be only a few women with small arms. There is no uniform. Everyone wears what they like. The Asari military is not an irregular militia, however. Those who serve are full-time professionals. The average Asari huntress is in the maiden stage of her life and has devoted 20 to 30 years of studying the martial arts. 20 to 30 years to studying the martial arts. Asari choose to be warriors at a young age, and their education from that point is dedicated to sharpening the mind and body for that sole purpose. When they retire, they possess an alarming proficiency for killing. Huntresses fight individually or in pairs, depending on the tactics preferred in their town. One-on-one, a huntress is practically unbeatable, possessing profound tactical insight, a hunter's eye, and a dancer's grace and alacrity. Biotics are common enough that some capability is a requirement to be trained as a huntress. Lack of biotic talent excludes a young Asari from military service. While fluid and mobile, Asari can't stand up in a firestorm the way a Krogan, Turian, or human could. Since their units are small and typically lack heavy armor and support weapons, they are almost incapable of fighting a conventional war, particularly one of a defensive nature. So Atari units typically undertake special operations missions. Like an army of ninja, they are adept at ambush, infiltration, and assassination, demoralizing and defeating their enemies through intense, focused guerrilla strikes. As a popular Turian saying puts it, the Asari are the finest warriors in the galaxy. Fortunately, there are not many of them. Cool. No, we're not done yet. We're not done. Asari religion. The pantheistic mainstream Asari religion is Saeri, which translates roughly as all in one. I'm pretty sure I struggled with that the last time. The faithful agree on certain core truths. The universe is a consciousness. Every life within it is an aspect of the greater whole, and death is a merging of one's spiritual energy back into the greater universal consciousness. Sayurists don't specifically believe in reincarnation. They believe that spiritual energy returned to the universal consciousness upon death will eventually be used to fill new mortal vessels. Sayuri became popular after the Asari left their homeworld and discovered their ability to meld with nearly any form of life. This ability is seen as proof that all life is fundamentally similar. Sayuri priestesses see their role as promoting unity between the disparate shards of the universe's awareness. Before the rise of Sayuri pantheism, Asari religions were as diverse as their political opinions. The strongest survivor of those days is the monotheistic religion worshipping the goddess Athame. Like the Asari, the goddess cycles through the triple aspects of maiden, matron, and matriarch. Now, I'm not going to try and come up with I'm not going to try and scan for conclusive proof that this religion is complete bullshit, but this is not proof that the religion is true, because other species can't meld with other species. That's just the Asari. The Asari can meld with any other species. Any other species can't meld with any other species. It's like, yeah, humans can't mate with Turians. I don't know how similar the Turians, the Quarians and Solarians are. I don't quite know what that is, but the Asari are known for their ability to mate with any other species. The reason why the Asari are known for that is because they are the only ones that are known for that. Nobody else can do it, just the Asari. So yeah, if that was true, if that particular aspect of that religion was true, then everybody would be able to mate with everybody, which is not true. That can't happen. Solarians' biology. Solarians are noted for their high-speed metabolism, which allows them to function on just 1 hour of sleep a day. Their minds and bodies work faster than most sapient races, making them seem restless or hyperactive. The drawback of this active metabolism is a short lifespan of around 40 human years. The Solarians are amphibian haplodiploid egg layers. Unfertilized eggs produce males and fertilized eggs produce females. Once a year, the Solarian female will lay a clutch of dozens of eggs. Social rules prevent all but a fraction from being fertilized. As a result, 90% of the species is male. Okey-doke. Wait. Hang on. Unfertilized eggs produce males, and fertilized eggs produce females. Okay, alright. Alright. Solarians have photographic... My question is, how would that evolutionarily... Why would that be like an evolutionary requirement? What I mean by that is... So, who lays the eggs then? Females? So, why would you need males at that point? In Solarian... In terms of Solarian's evolution, why would you need males if the females lay eggs, and the female... but the unfertilized egg... No, wait. Oh, wait. No, hang on. Fertilized eggs produce females. Okay, so if the females lay eggs, then you need male... I assume that males are required to fertilize the eggs, similar to how we do it, basically. Okay. But in order to get females, they need... Right, okay, right. Assuming that that's how that works, that males are needed to fertilize, and... yeah, alright, yeah, assuming that males are needed to fertilize, then that would obviously... You would need males. you would need males. Alright, never mind. Solarians have photographic memories and rarely forget a fact. They also possess a form of psychological imprinting, tending to defer to those they knew in their youth. Solarian hatching is a solemn ritual in which the clan Dalatras, matriarch, isolates herself with the eggs. The young Solarians psychologically imprint on her and tend to defer to her wishes. During the hatching of daughters, the Dalatresses of the mother and father's clans are present at the imprinting. This ensures the offspring have equal loyalty to both, ensuring the desired dynastic and political unity. Okay, no. Solarian culture. The rare Solarian females are cloistered on their worlds out of tradition and respect. Powerful female Dalatresses are dynasts and political kingpins. They determine the political course of their respective regions through shrewd negotiation. Though male Solarians rise to positions of great authority in business, academia, or the military, they rarely have any input on politics. Okay, no, interesting. Due to their method of reproduction, Solarians have no concept of romantic love, sexual attraction, or the biological impulses and social rituals that complicate human lives. Male-to-female relationships are rare, due to the scarcity of females, and more akin to human friendship. Sexuality is strictly for the purpose of reproduction. Ancient social codes determine who gets to fertilize eggs, which produces more daughters and continues a bloodline. fertilization generally only occurs after months of negotiation between the parents' clans and is done for purposes of political and dynastic alliance. No Solarian would imagine defying this code. Solarian names are quite complex. A full name includes, in order, the name of a Solarian's planet, duchy, barony, fiefdom, family, and finally, the given name. Duchy, I assume that's supposed to say? So it would seem that which males and females mate and which ones have kids, basically, is not far off. It's pretty similar to how we handled things in medieval times. Solarian's government. Solarian's government. The Solarian government is called the Solarian Union, as it is in Stellaris. It is a labyrinthine web of matrilineal bloodlines, with political alliances formed through interbreeding. In many ways, the Solarian political network functions like the noble families of Earth's medieval Europe. There we go. Structurally, the government consists of fiefdoms, baronies, duchies, planets, and marches, colonization clusters. These are human nicknames. The original Solarian is unpronounceable. Each area is ruled by a single Dalatrus, matriarchal head of household, and represents an increasing amount of territory and prestige within the Solarian political web. Approaching 100 members, the first circle of a Solarian clan comprises parents, siblings, uncles, aunts, and cousins. The next circle includes second cousins, etc., and escalates to well over 1,000 members. The fourth or fifth circle of a clan numbers into the millions. Solarian loyalty is greatest to their first circle and diminishes from there. Their photographic memories allow Solarians to recognize all of their myriad relatives. Solarians, League of One. We got all the medallions for these guys. Before they joined the Citadel Council, the Solarians' most potent military tool was a small reconnaissance team known as the League of One. Their primary training was in espionage and assassination. Never more than a dozen strong, the team was adept at infiltrating the tightest defenses and eliminating all necessary obstacles. Only a few top members of government and military were privy to the League's identities. League members wore no distinguishing garments and held no particular rank. The only evidence of their participation in the League was a small medallion presented to each member upon induction. This secrecy was maintained until the formation of the Council. In an effort to dispel rumors and appease their new Asari partners, the Solarian Union released all classified documents pertaining to the League. The League of One was suddenly exposed and in danger of being hunted by enemies of the Solarians. Before any harm could be done, the team mysteriously disappeared. Most assumed this was a convenient lie to help hide their identities, but a few months later, the inner cabinet was murdered. Though there was no incriminating evidence, it was clear who was responsible. Realizing the threat posed by this rogue outfit, the Special Tasks Group dispatched a team of hunters. When they didn't return, the STG dispatched 10 of its brightest operators with broad discretionary powers. Only 2 returned. They reported no evidence of the League. No further incidents were reported, and it was assumed the League was wiped out. Some recently declassified documents, however, have suggested there may have been a 13th member who eluded the Solarian military. Alright. The 13th member, did it say anything about 12 members? I don't know, but okay. Solarian's military doctrine. In principle, the Solarian military is similar to the Alliance, a small volunteer army that focuses on maneuver warfare. What differentiates the Solarians is not their equipment or doctrine, but their intelligence services and rules of engagement. The Solarians believe that a war should be won before it begins. Conventional wisdom holds that the Solarians know everything about everyone, and this is not far from the truth. In war, the unquestioned superiority of their intelligence services allows them to use their small military to maximum effectiveness. Well before fighting breaks out, they possess complete knowledge of their enemy's positions, intentions, and timetable. In every war the Solarians have fought, they struck first and without warning. For the Solarians, to know an enemy plans to attack and to let it happen is folly. To announce their own plans to attack is insanity, which is a difficulty we are on. They find the human moral concept of do not fire until fired upon, and declare a war before prosecuting it, incredibly naive. In defensive wars, they execute devastating preemptive strikes hours before the enemy's own attacks. On the offense, they have never telegraphed their intentions with a declaration of war before attacking. Biotics are virtually unknown in the Solarian military. Those with such abilities are considered too valuable to be used as cannon fodder and are assigned to the intelligence services. While capable of defending themselves against most threats, the Solarians knew that they are small fish in a universe filled with sharks. As a point of survival, they have cultivated strong alliances with larger powers, particularly with the Turians. Though the relationship between the two species was rocky at first due to the Kroban uplift fiasco, the Solarians take pains to keep this relationship strong enough that anyone who might threaten them risks Turian intervention. Okay, so yeah, all these different species have varied, very they've got very different military doctrines that would be very useful in a combined war, and you can see where I'm going with this, can't you? Solarian Special Tasks Group. Solarian intelligence fields. Wait, the Special Task Group is also Solarian. Wait, I think I already knew that. Solarian intelligence field agents are grouped into an organization called the Special Task Group. SCG operators work in independent cells, performing dangerous missions such as counter-terrorism, infiltration, reconnaissance, assassination, and sabotage. The SCG is a proactive organization, puncturing worrisome trends before they become movements. At any time, a dozen groups are operating covertly within the lawless Terminus system, sowing dissent among the various factions. Civilian analysts also note how troublesome hinge point individuals in Terminus frequently meet unexpected deaths. SDG operators are feared throughout the galaxy for their clear-eyed, remorseless practicality. They are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve their mission, even if it kills civilians or results in the team's own destruction. In many ways, they are akin to the Council Spectres. Recently, a number of SDG cells have been redeployed from Solarian Union. It is assumed that they are in the Terminus and Atkin Traverse, investigating reports of Geth activity beyond the Perseus Veil. So, Shepard and co. weren't the only ones. Turian's biology, those are actually probably the ships that we were investigating when we got shot down. Turian's biology. A Turian homeworld, Palaven, has a metal-poor core, generating a weak magnetic field and allowing more solar radiation into the atmosphere. To deal with this, most forms of life on Palaven evolved some form of metallic exoskeleton to protect themselves. Their reflective plate-like skin makes Turians less susceptible to long-term, low-level radiation exposure, but they do not possess any sort of natural armor. A Turian's thick skin does not stop projectiles and directed energy bolts. Although life on Palaven is carbon-based and oxygen-breathing, it is built on dextro amino acids. This places the Turians in a distinct minority on the galactic stage. The Quarians are the only other known sapient dextroprotein race. The food of humans, Asari, or Solarians who evolved in levo amino acid-based biospheres will at best pass through Turian systems without providing any nutrition. At worst, it will trigger an allergic reaction that can be fatal if not immediately treated. Damn. Turians' culture. While Turians are individuals with personal desires, their instinct is to equate the self with the group, and set aside personal desires for the good of all. Turians are taught to have a strong sense of personal accountability, the Turian honor that other races find so remarkable. Turians are taught to own every decision they make, good or ill. The worst sin they can make in the eyes of their people is to lie about their own actions. Turians who murder will try to get away with it, but if directly questioned, most will confess to the crime. Turians have a strong inclination toward public service and self-sacrifice, so they tend to be poor entrepreneurs. To compensate, they accepted the mercantile Volus as a client race, offering protection in exchange for their fiscal expertise. The Turian military is the center of their society. It is not just an armed force, it is an all-encompassing public works organization. The military police are also the civic police. The fire brigades serve the civilian population as well as military facilities. The Corps of Engineers build and maintain spaceports, schools, water purification plants, and power stations. The Merchant Marine ensures that all worlds get needed resources. Okay, so we've got Turian government. The Turian government is a hierarchical meritocracy. While it has great potential for misuse, this is tempered by the civic duty and personal responsibility Turians learn in childhood. Turians have 27 citizenship tiers, beginning with civilians, client races and children. Turians have 27 citizenship tiers, beginning with civilians, client races and children. The initial period of military service is a second tier. Formal citizenship is conferred at a third tier, after boot camp. For client races, citizenship is granted after the individual musters out. Higher-ranked citizens are expected to lead and protect subordinates. Lower-ranked citizens are expected to obey and support superiors. Promotion to another tier of citizenship is based on the personal assessments of one's superiors and co-rankers. Throughout their lives, Turians ascend to higher tiers and are occasionally demoted to lower ones. Stigma associated with demotion lies not on the individual, but on those who promoted him when he wasn't ready for additional responsibility. This curbs the tendency to promote individuals into positions beyond their capabilities. Setting into a role and rank is not considered stagnation. Turians value knowing one's own limitations more than being ambitious. At the top are the Primarchs, who each rule a colonization cluster. The Primarchs vote on matters of national import. They otherwise maintain a hands-off policy, trusting the citizens on each level below them to do their jobs competently. Turians enjoy broad fiefdoms, so long as one completes his duties and does not prevent others from completing theirs. Nothing is forbidden. For example, there are no laws against recreational drug use, but if someone is unable to complete his duties due to drug use, his superiors step in. I mean, that's reasonable, I suppose. Judicial proceedings are interventions. Peers express their concern and try to convince the offender to change. If rehabilitation fails, Turians have no qualms about sentencing dangerous individuals to life at hard labor for the state. They've got... Oh, that's the copy and paste of that. That's an error. Oops. Turians' military doctrine. Although they lack the brutality of the Krogan, the skill of the Asari, and the virtuosity of the humans, the Turian military has formidable discipline. Officers and NCOs are lifers with years of field experience. Enlisted personnel are thoroughly trained and stay calm under fire. Turian units don't break. Even if their entire line collapses, they fall back in order, setting ambushes as they go. A popular saying holds: you will only see a Turian's back once he's dead. Boot camp begins on the 15th birthday. Soldiers receive a year of training before being assigned to a field unit. Officers train for even longer. Most serve until the age of 30, at which point they become part of the reserves. Even if they suffer injuries preventing frontline service, mostly support work behind the lines. Biotics are uncommon. While admired for their exacting skills, biotics' motives are not always fully trusted by the common soldier. The Turian prefers to assign their biotics to specialist teams called cabals. Command and control is decentralized and flexible. Individual squads can call for artillery and air support. They make extensive use of combat drones for light duties and practice combined arms. Infantry operates with armor supported by overhead gunships. Strategically, they are methodical and patient and dislike risky operations. Tradition is important. Each legion has a full-time staff of historians who chronicle its battle honours in detail. The oldest have records dating back to the Turian Iron Age. If a legion is destroyed in battle, it is reconstituted rather than replaced. I don't know what that means. The Turians recruit auxiliary units from conquered or absorbed minor races. Auxiliaries are generally light infantry or armoured cavalry units that screen and support the main Turian formations. At the conclusion of their service in the auxiliaries, recruits are granted Turian citizenship. Okey-doke. Turians' religion. Although Turians have a strict moral code, their belief in individual responsibility means that the concepts of good and evil are simply the individual's choice between egotism and altruism in any given decision. They have no concept of good deities that encourage noble behavior, or evil ones that tempt individuals to misdeeds. Turians believe that groups and areas have spirits that transcend the individual. For example, a military unit would be considered to have a literal spirit that embodies the honor and courage it has displayed. A city spirit reflects the accomplishments and industry of its residents. An ancient tree spirit reflects the beauty and tranquility of the area it grows within. These spirits are neither good nor evil, nor are they appealed to for intercession. Turians do not believe spirits can affect the world, but spirits can inspire the living. Prayers and rituals allow an individual to converse with the spirit for guidance or inspiration. For example, a Turian who finds his loyalty tested may appeal to the spirit of his unit, hoping to reconnect with the pride and honor of the group. A Turian who wishes to create a work of art may attempt to connect with the spirit of a beautiful location. Turians enjoy absolute freedom of religion and can practice whatever appeals to them so long as it does not impede anyone's ability to perform their duties. There are many practitioners of the Asari Cyrus philosophy. Since opening dialogue with the Human Systems Alliance, some Turians have embraced Confucianism and Zen Buddhism. Okido, that was a mouthful. Turians, the Unification War. At about the time the Silurians and Asari were forming the Council, the Turians were embroiled in a bitter civil war. The Unification War, as it was later named, began with hostilities between the colonies furthest from the Turian homeworld, Palaven. These colonies were run by local chieftains, many of whom had distanced themselves from the hierarchy. Without the galvanizing influence of the government, the colonies became increasingly isolated and xenophobic. Colonists began wearing emblems or facial markings to differentiate themselves from members of other colonies, and open hostilities became common. When war finally broke out, the hierarchy maintained strict diplomacy and refused to get involved. After several years of fighting, less than a dozen factions remained, and the hierarchy finally intervened. By that time, the chieftains were too weak to resist. They were forced to put an end to fighting and renew their allegiance to the hierarchy. Though peace was restored, it took several decades for animosity between colonists to fade completely. To this day, most Turians still wear the facial markings of their home colonies. As a point of interest, the Turian term barefaced refers to one who is beguiling and not to be trusted. It is also a slang term for politicians. Okay. Aliens, extinct races. Okay, Protheans. Oh, these are new. Prothean's Beacon. The Beacon was a Prothean artifact unearthed on the Alliance colony of Eden Prime. Its resemblance to the Prothean databanks recovered on Mars provoked immediate interest from the Alliance and the Citadel Council. It proved to be a solid-state data storage device. Well, it wasn't a storage device. I guess technically, since it did store the communication that came from another beacon, but it was a communication device. But alright, whatever. Part of a there we go. It says there we go. It proved to be a solid-state data storage device, part of a galaxy-spanning comm network similar to the modern extranet. Intact Prothean paleo technology is rare. The beacon seemed to promise another quantum leap of technology, akin to the discovery of the Mass Effect drive and relays. Unfortunately, the beacon also drew the attention of the rogue Spectre Seren Arterius and his synthetic allies the Geth. A dawn raid by his flagship Sovereign resulted in hundreds of civilian casualties. The beacon was badly damaged. The motives behind the attack are still being investigated. During the recovery operation, the beacon fired a pulse of energy at the executive officer of the Alliance frigate Normandy. Lieutenant Commander Shepard survived and appears to have suffered no ill effects. Afterwards, the beacon fell inert. The mechanism appeared to be dead. Okay, also we've got the Prothean Cipher. The Prothean beacon downloaded its knowledge into Commander Shepard on Eden Prime, causing confusing dreams and visions. While the imagery is becoming clearer with time, the meaning of the beacon communication remains elusive. It has been suggested that Prothean data recording is highly dependent on a certain point of view, what Carl Jung described as the collective unconscious. The cipher, needed to comprehend the images implanted in Shepard's mind, is the cultural knowledge of a Prothean, the archetypes, biological instincts, and common experiences universal to the race. Since the Protheans have been dead for millennia, it may be impossible to acquire this cipher. Well, it is not because we have it. Protheans data disks. Despite all the evidence confirming the existence of the Protheans, little is known about their culture and society. From time to time, dig sites will yield new clues, but after 50,000 years of decay, little of value is unearthed. Recent research has focused on the discovery of Prothean data disks. On their own, they are frail and rarely found in one piece. Occasionally, however, an intact disk will be discovered within a console or reading device. To date, over 3 dozen disks have been recovered, and a few of those have been restored to the point where researchers can begin analyzing them. Though it may be some time before scientists discover a way to transfer the data off the disks, they are currently considered the most tangible leads for learning more about the Prothean culture. Okay, so we don't actually have any. We've got all these Prothean disks, but we haven't really gotten. We're not really getting much information from the disks because we can't get the data off the disks, and we can't get the data off the disks, and most of the disks we find are pretty badly damaged. Okay, Protheans, Mars ruins. After 20 years of manned research outposts and nearly a century of robotic exploration, the European Space Agency's Lowell City became the first permanent settlement on Mars in 2103. Within a decade, the United States and China had founded permanent settlements as well. The South Polar region of Prometheus Planum developed a Bermuda Triangle reputation. Satellites detected intermittent mass concentrations and magnetic field shifts. In 2148, prospectors working near Decido crater discovered an underground complex. Whoa, my computer's flickered. What was that about? An underground complex, a Prothean observation post. I thought am I losing my sight? I swear. Right, no, my mouse is flickering. Hang on. Okay, well, I think everything's fine. Underground complex, a Prothean observation post. The odd phenomena were generated by the operation and discharge of a Mass Effect core, struggling to function despite 50 millennia of neglect. Earth was electrified by the news. Humanity was unequivocally not alone. While courts battled over who owned the ruins, the international scientific community coordinated a massive effort to access, translate, and interpret the databanks recovered from the facility. The facility proved to be a biosciences observation post built when Homo sapiens were first evolving on Earth. While the motives of the Protheans are not certain, translated records indicate that the facility was in regular communication with automated observation platforms in Earth orbit and on the lunar near side. The half-dozen Mass Effect spaceships found in the facility were presumably used for first-hand observation. Okie doke. So, that proves that absolutely that these guys are not extinct anymore. This log can not be there now. Yeah, so all those alien sightings were actually the Protheans in the Mass Effect universe. Okie doke. Rachni. Though now extinct, the Rachni once threatened every species in Citadel space. Over 2,000 years ago, explorers foolishly opened a mass relay to a previously unknown system, and encountered something never seen before or since, a species of spacefaring insects guided by a hive-mind intelligence. Unfortunately, the Rachni were not peaceful, and the galaxy was plunged into a series of conflicts known as the Rachni War. Attempts to negotiate were futile, as it was impossible to make contact with the Hive Queens that guided the race from beneath the surface of their toxic homeworld. The emergence of the Krogan ended the Rachni Wars. Bred to survive the harshest environments, the Krogan were able to strike at the Queens in their lairs and reclaim conquered Council worlds. But when Krogan fleets pressed them back into their homeworld, the Rachni refused to surrender, and the Krogan eradicated them from the galaxy. Until some dormant eggs were found and we set them free. Aliens. So this one. So the one that we set free didn't seem to be hostile. It communicated with us and promised that it was not a threat to the galaxy. Aliens, not only that, but I'm pretty sure it promised to build up its numbers to help us with the Reapers. I can't remember if it said that. Aliens, non-council races. Geth armatures. Armatures are quadruped, all-terrain heavy weapons platforms, akin to the armored fighting vehicles of other races. Geth being synthetic intelligences, armatures are not crewed vehicles, but intelligent entities capable of independent decision-making and learning. Armatures are equipped with heavy kinetic barriers. Their main cannon, mounted on the articulated head turret, appears to be a highly efficient conventional mass accelerator. It is capable of firing in anti-personnel and anti-tank modes. Some armatures carry drones into battle, presumably for reconnaissance purposes. Others host a swarm of insect-sized repair microbots. Okay, so we've got the Keepers. When the Asari discovered the Citadel, they also discovered the Keepers, a docile, multi-limbed insect race that seemingly exists only to maintain and repair the Great Prothean Station. Early attempts to communicate with or study the Keepers were failures, and it is now illegal to interfere with or impede Keeper activity. Because they are completely non-threatening, Keepers have become virtually invisible to everyone else. Similarly, they seem indifferent to other species, except for their tendency to help new arrivals integrate themselves into the Citadel. No matter how many Keepers die due to old age, violence, or accident, they maintain a constant number. No one has discovered the source of new Keepers, but some hypothesize they are now genetic constructs, biological androids created somewhere deep in the inaccessible core of the Citadel itself. Well, now we know why the Keepers have that tendency to help new arrivals integrate themselves into the Citadel. Because they are controlled by the Reapers, and the Reapers want as many people on the Citadel as possible so that they can gather as much intel on them as possible for when the Reapers come through the Citadel relay. But they can no longer do that because we stopped it, as we were told we couldn't. Krogan biology. The Krogan evolved in a lethal ecology. Right, okay. Oh yeah, no, they're not a council race. Okay, no. The Krogan evolved in a lethal ecology. Over millions of years, the Grim struggled to survive large predators, virulent disease, and resource scarcity on their homeworld, Tuchanka, turned the lizards into quintessential survivors. Perhaps the most telling indicator of Tuchanka's lethality is the Krogan eyes. Although they are a predator species by any standard definition, their eyes evolved to be wide-set, as in Earth prey species like deer and cattle. Krogan eyes have a 240-degree arc of vision, better suited for spotting enemies sneaking up on them than for pursuit. Physically, the Krogan are nigh indestructible, with a tough hide impervious to any melee weapon short of a molecular blade. With a tough hide impervious to any melee weapons short of a molecular blade. While they feel pain, it does not affect their ability to concentrate. They have multiple functioning examples of all major organs, and can often survive the loss of one or two of any type. Rather than a nervous system, they have an electrically conductive second circulatory system. A Krogan can never be paralyzed. They may lose some of this fluid, but it can be replaced by the body in time. Okido. They can't be confined to a wheelchair, basically. Things like that. Right, my TV's turning itself off. 2 seconds. Ugh. The hump on a Krogan's back stores water and fats that help the Krogan survive lean times. Large humps are a point of pride. Being well fed implies the Krogan is a superior predator. The most widely known biological feature of the Krogan is their incredible birth rate and rapid maturity. Once freed from the hostile cauldron of Tuchanka, the Krogan population swelled into a numberless horde. Only the genophage kept them from outbreeding the combined council races. Now the rare Krogan females capable of bringing a child to term are treated like strategic resources. Warlords will trade them at diplomacy, or more frequently, fight wars over them. Yeah, okie doke. So that genophage was very, very effective. Krogan culture. The harsh Krogan homeworld conditioned the Krogan psychology for toughness just as it did the body. Krogan have always had a tendency to be selfish, unsympathetic, and blunt. They respect strength and self-reliance and are neither surprised nor offended by treachery. The weak and selfless do not live long. In their culture, looking out for number one is simply a matter of course. After their defeat in the rebellions, the very concept of Krogan leadership was discredited. Where a warlord could once command enough power to bring entire solar systems to heel and become overlord, these days it is rare for a single leader to have more than 1,000 warriors swear allegiance to him. Most Krogan trust and serve no one but themselves. This solitary attitude stems in part from a deep sense of fatalism and futility, a profound social effect on the genophage that caused Krogan numbers to dwindle to a relative handful. Not only are they angry that the entire galaxy seems to be out to get them, the Krogan are also generally pessimistic about their race's chance of survival. The surviving Krogan see no point to building for the future. There will be no future. The Krogan live with an attitude of kill, pillage, and be selfish, for tomorrow we die. Okie doke, so these guys don't really have the mentality to help us out with the Reapers when they show up, because they've not got a vision of the future. They've not got a challenge accepted mentality. They think that they're going to be dead, well, pretty soon. And with the genophage, that's pretty well founded, to be honest. Krogan genophage. The genophage bioweapon was created to end the Krogan rebellions. From the start, the Krogan had overwhelmed the Council. Only timely first contact with the Turians saved the Council races. The Turians fought the Krogan to a standstill, but sheer weight of Krogan numbers indicated the war could not be won through conventional means. The Turians collaborated with the Solarians to genetically engineer a counter to the rapid breeding of the Krogan. The genophage virus gained the energy to replicate by eating key genetic sequences. Every cell in every Krogan had to be altered for the weapon to be foolproof. Otherwise, the Krogan could have used gene therapy to fix the affected tissues. Once a genophage strain could find no more genes to eat, it would starve and die, limiting spin-off mutation and contamination. This created genetic flaw is hereditary. The Solarians believed the genophage would be used as a deterrent, a position the Turians viewed as naive. Once the project was complete, the Turians mass-produced and deployed it. The Krogan homeworld, their colonies, and all occupied worlds were infected. The resulting mutation made only 1 in 1,000 Krogan pregnancies carry to term. It did not reduce fertility, but offspring viability. The rare females able to carry children to term became prizes the Krogan warlords fought brutal battles over. The Krogan are a shadow of their former glory. While the rebellions took place centuries ago, they are constantly reminded of the horror of the genophage, and of their inability to counter it. The release of the genophage is still controversial, bitterly debated in many circles. Yeah, well, I wonder what Rex has been up to with the Krogans these days, so I'm sure he's been able to have a positive effect on the culture and the genophage. Krogan rebellions, because we know that he was trying in Mass Effect 1 and he gave up because of a story with his father, but I'm pretty sure we've had a positive. We're going to see what effect we've had on that lad eventually. Krogan rebellions. After the Rachni War, the quick breeding Krogan expanded at the expense of their neighbours. Warlords leveraged their veteran soldiers to seize living space while the Council races were still grateful. Over centuries, the Krogan conquered world after world. There was always just one more needed. When the Council finally demanded withdrawal from the Asari colony of Lucia, Krogan overlord Kredak stormed off the Citadel, daring the Council to take their worlds back. But the Council had taken precautions. The finest STG operators and Asari huntresses had been drafted into a covert observation force, the Office of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance. Yeah, so I was right, it was the STG, and they became the Inspectors. The Spectres opened the war with crippling strategic strikes. Krogan planets went dark as computer viruses flooded the extranet. Sabotaged antimatter refineries. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on there. Getting a blocked nose. Krogan planets went dark as computer viruses flooded the extranet. Sabotaged antimatter refineries disappeared in blue-white annihilation. Headquarters stations shattered into orbit, clogging debris, rammed by pre-placed suicide freighters. This only delayed the inevitable. The war would have been lost if not for first contact with the Turians, who responded to Krogan threats with a prompt declaration of war. Being on the far side of Krogan space from the Council, the Turians advanced rapidly into the lightly defended Krogan rear areas. The Krogan responded by dropping space stations and asteroids on Turian colonies. 3 worlds were rendered completely uninhabitable. This was precisely the wrong approach to take with the Turians. Each is first and foremost a public servant, willing to risk his life to protect his comrades. Rather than increasing public war wariness, Krogan tactics stiffened the Turian resolve. The arrival of Turian task forces saved many worlds from the warlords' marauding fleets, but it took development of the genophage bioweapon to end the war. There were decades of unrest afterwards. Rogue warlords and whole-out groups of insurgents refused to surrender, or disappeared into the frontier systems to become pirates. Okie doke. Krogan military doctrine. Traditional Krogan tactics were built on attritional mass unit warfare. Equipped with cheap, rugged gear, troop formations were powerful but inflexible. Command and control was very centralized. Soldiers in the field who saw a target contacted their commanders behind the lines to arrange fire support. Since the genophage, the Krogan can no longer afford the casualties of the old Horde attacks. The Battlemasters are a match for any 10 soldiers of another species. To a Battlemaster, killing is a science. They focus on developing a clean, brute force economy of motion that exploits their brutal strength to incapacitate enemies with a swift, single blow of overwhelming power. This change of focus from mass unit warfare to maximal efficiency has increased employment demand in the fields of security and muscle for hire. Due to the unsavory reputation of the Krogan, most of these jobs are on the far side of the law. Battlemasters are not spit and polish, but they do believe in being well armed and equipped, preferably with a gun for each limb. They are callous and brutal, but methodical and disciplined. They use any means at their disposal to achieve their goals, no matter how reprehensible. Hostage-taking and genocide are acceptable means to ensure a quiet occupation with few Krogan casualties. The Krogan serving with Saren's forces appeared to be returning to the old style of mass attritional combat. They also work in close cooperation with supporting Geth units, who fill the roles occupied by combat drones in other armies. Biotics are rare among the Krogan. Those that exist are viewed with suspicion and fear. The Krogan see this aura of fear as a useful quality for an officer, and often promote them. Combat drones and other high-tech equipment are likewise in short supply. Okie doke, so we've got Quarian's economy. The migrant fleet has little economic base, operating in a state of perpetual hand-to-mouth. While Quarian ships include light manufacturing and assembly plants, they lack heavy industries such as refining and shipbuilding. The fleet has tankers for water purification and oxygen cracking, but the space-intensive nature of agriculture limits food production. A single disaster could destroy the fragile balance. Quarians earn income in creative ways. Because the government is obliged to provide food, water, air, and medical support for every individual, the Conclave strategically determines the course of the fleet to bring in resources and income. A species who suspects the migrant fleet is heading towards their space often offers a gift of surplus starships, fuel, and resources to convince the Conclave to alter course. As the fleet passes through a system, swarms of mining vessels work over asteroids for metals and siliceous materials and cometary bodies for water, ice, and organics. Quarian miners are adept at locating and strip mining spaceborne resources. This sparks conflict with corporations already working the system. Large mining concerns spend millions in lobbyists and public relations portraying the Quarians as locusts, devouring the resources of a system before moving on. The greatest asset of the Quarians is their rarefied skills. Most are experienced miners. Due to their life of perpetual salvage and repair, they are skilled engineers and technicians. More than once, the very corporations that lobby against the Quarians have made backroom deals with the fleet, arranging for skilled Quarians who fill space engineering jobs that other species would demand higher wages for. Quarians are widely hated among the working classes. "The Quarians are coming to take our jobs" is a common response to the fleet's approach. Okie-doke. Well, we need to sort the Quarians out because we can't have them. We can't have them basically hiding away on the fleet. We need to do something about that. And what I mean by that is the Quarians are essentially restricted to the fleet because when they fled from when they had their home planet taken, that was essentially the only planet. Because of generations of living on the fleet, they now can't inhabit other planets. So. We need to help them out with that if we can. Quarian's government. Due to the Quarians' precarious existence and the need to enforce strict rationing, government is somewhat autocratic. The migrant fleet's operations are directed by the Admiralty, a board of 5 military officers who are advised by a legislative body called the Conclave. Each vessel in the fleet has the right to send representatives to the conclave aboard the flagship. The number of representatives is based on the crew size. Larger clans with bigger ships and more votes form the cause of political blocs. Opposition comes from the Outriders coalition, with delegates from thousands of smaller ships. The Admiralty defers to the Conclave's decisions in most circumstances. However, if all 5 members agree that a Conclave decision jeopardizes the survival of the fleet and cannot get the Conclave to address their concerns, they have the right to summarily overturn the legislative decision. After the Admiralty uses its extraordinary power, they must resign. If the Admiralty does not step down after using their veto, the rest of the military is obliged to arrest them. Each ship captain has authority over his vessel, but is advised by an elected civilian council, just as the Admiralty is advised by the Conclave. This relationship may range from cooperation to polite tolerance to outright hostility, but any captain who overrules his council without good reason is relieved of command by the Admiralty. Many Quarian ships are owned by clans who pool their resources to purchase used vessels from private sellers. Large ships are prestigious for big, rich clans, while a small ship means status for a small clan with enough personal wealth to afford a private vessel. Clan vessel captains are not subject to dismissal by the Admiralty. Abusive captains are a family problem if they do not disrupt the operations of the fleet. Okie doke. Quarians' law and defense. Although the Conclave establishes civil law much as any planet-based democracy, enforcement and trials are more unique. After the flight from the Geth, there were few constables to police the millions of civilians aboard the fleet, so the Navy parceled out Marine squads to maintain order and enforce the law. Today, Quarian Marines have evolved training and tactics akin to civilian police, but remain adept at combat in the confined spaces of a starship and fully under the command of the military. Once taken into custody, the accused is brought before the ship's captain for judgment. While the ship's council may make recommendations, tradition holds that the captain has absolute authority in matters of discipline. Most are lenient, assigning additional or more odious maintenance tasks aboard the ship. Excuse me. I'm losing my voice doing this, god damn. Persistent recidivists are accidentally left on the next habitable world. This practice of abandoning criminals on other people's planets is a point of friction between the Quarians and the systems they pass through. Captains rarely have another choice. With space and resources at a premium, supporting a non-productive prison population is not an option. I mean, makes sense. In the early years, many Quarian freighters were armed and used as irregular privateers. Civilian ships still show a strong preference for armaments, making them unpopular targets for pirates. Though they have rebuilt their military, there are still mere hundreds of warships to protect tens of thousands of ships. Okay, alright. The Quarian Navy follows tens of thousands of ships. The Quarian Navy follows strict routines of patrol and takes no chances. If the intent of an approaching ship can't be ascertained, they shoot to kill. Okie doke. Alright, so to be fair, they have actually given us a specific number now. It's not 50,000 ships with guns. It's a few hundred warships protecting 50,000 mostly civilian ships and mobile space stations. Okay, no, that's better. Oh, we're not done. Hang on. So we've got pilgrimage. When Quarians of the migrant fleet reach young adulthood, they must leave their birth ship and find a new crew to accept them as permanent residents. To prove themselves, they must recover something of value. This is offered to their prospective captain as proof that they will not be a mere burden on the shoestring resources of the ship. This process is called the pilgrimage. Stripped of ritual, the pilgrimage is merely an attempt to maintain genetic diversity within the small, relatively isolated population bases that make up the migrant fleet. If the young stayed and married within their birth vessel, the risk of inbreeding would increase sharply. Quarians are surgically fitted with their various immunity-boosting implants in preparation for leaving on pilgrimage. Having grown up within the sterile, controlled environments of the migrant fleet ships, Quarians have virtually no natural immune system. So yeah, that's a very unfortunate side effect of being on the migrant fleet. That's why we need to help them out and adapt them to a planet's ecology. Give these guys a chance so that the destruction of the migrant fleet or the we need to help these guys generate an environment that has reproducing resources, you know. Anyway, Quarian's religion. The ancient Quarians practiced ancestor worship. Even after abandoning faith for secularism, Quarians continued to revere the wisdom of elders. As time passed and technology advanced, they inevitably turned their knowledge to preserving the personalities and the memories of the elderly as computer virtual intelligences. Excuse me. These recordings became a repository of knowledge and wisdom, stored in a central databank and available through any extranet connection. They held no illusions that this was a form of immortality. Like all virtual intelligences, their electronically preserved ancestors were not truly sapient. This was considered a surmountable problem. Sapience could surely be reduced to simple mathematics. The Quarians began exhaustive research into creating artificial intelligence so they could learn to escape the bounds of mortality and give their ancestral records true awareness. Unfortunately, the life the Quarians created did not accept the same truths they did. The Geth destroyed the ancestor databanks when they took over. Oh, that's such a shame. In the centuries since they evacuated their homeworld, most Quarians have returned to religion in various forms. Many believe that the rise of the Geth and the destruction of their ancestors were chastisement for arrogantly forsaking the old ways and venerating self-made idols. I don't believe that's true. Others have a more philosophical outlook, believing that their race was indeed arrogant, but no supernatural agency lay behind the Geth revolt. Rather, the Quarians' actions brought their own doom. Either way, every Quarian would agree that their own hubris cost them their homeworld. I mean, that may be so, but I mean, yeah, the Geth. When the Geth were on the verge of disobeying orders from the Quarians panicked and tried to disable them. So, I mean, we'll get that when we get to the Geth. So we've got aliens, non-sapient creatures. Husks. After the Geth secure a location, they round up and impale dead and living bodies on mechanical spikes. The spikes rapidly transform these victims into withered husks, extracting water and trace minerals and replacing them with cybernetics. The cybernetics reanimate the lifeless flesh and tissue, transforming the bodies into mindless killing machines. Some Alliance soldiers refer to the husk-generating spikes as dragon's teeth, a reference to the mythological berserkers who sprang up from the earth wherever the teeth of the dragon Ares were planted. Dragon's teeth and husks bear little resemblance to other pieces of Geth technology. No one is sure why a synthetic race would bother to drain the minuscule amount of recoverable resources from organic corpses, though the value of reusing them as shock troops is obvious. I swear that one was in the primary Codex log before. Thresher Maws. Thresher Maws are subterranean carnivores that spend their entire lives eating or searching for something to eat. Threshers reproduce via spores that can lie dormant for millennia, yet are robust enough to survive prolonged periods in deep space and atmospheric re-entry. As a result, thresher spores appear on many worlds, spread by previous generations of space travelers. The body of a thresher never entirely leaves the ground. Only the head and tentacles erupt from the earth to attack. In addition to physical attacks, threshers have the ability to produce toxic chemicals and emit bursts of infrasound as a shockwave weapon. The Alliance first encountered threshers on the colony of Acuse in 2177. After contact was lost with the Pioneer team, Marine units were deployed to investigate. The shore parties were set upon by hungry threshers, and nearly the entire assault force was killed. Alliance forces recommend engaging threshers with vehicle-mounted heavy weapons. Yeah, so that's actually one of the potential origins for Commander Shepard. He's on that team, and he barely escapes. Some people will choose that origin if they want to play a Renegade Shepard, as he's accustomed to getting out of 9 possible situations via. So basically, the idea of his entire team dying and him being a lone survivor damn near breaks him, and he's able to make very cold decisions and sleep at night. You know. So if they're making a renegade Shepard who is very ruthless and brutal, not necessarily evil, but that just depends on the subtlety of the choice specifically. But the idea is that Shepard is very unempathetic and ruthless. He's a renegade, basically. He gets the job done quickly and efficiently. He doesn't care too much about whether or not it's the quote-unquote right thing to do. So yeah. So that's the origin that some people go for if they're going to do a renegade one. Varren. Varren are omnivores with a preference for living prey. Originally native to the Krogan homeworld of Tuchanka, they are, like most life from Tuchanka, savage and clannish, and consummate survivors. They are pack hunters when vulnerable prey is readily available, and become scavengers when outnumbered or outclassed. Their supreme adaptability, vicious demeanor, and rapid breeding cycle have made them ubiquitous and dangerous pests on many worlds. Virtually everywhere the Krogan have been, Baron infestations have followed, wreaking havoc with the native ecology. The Krogan have had a love-hate relationship with Baron for millennia, alternately fighting them for territory and embracing them as treasured companions. To this day, Krogan raise them as beasts of war. A common subgenus of Baron has metallic silver scales, leading to the rather unusual name fishducks. Okay, so that's that category done with. We have quite a few more. Let's do it. Citadel and Galactic Governments. Citadel Conventions. These diplomatic talks occurred in the wake of the Krogan rebellions, as a response to the destruction of the conflict and an attempt to distance the Council from the brutal Krogan warfare. The conventions regulate the use of weapons of mass destruction. A WMD causes environmental alteration to a world. A bomb that produces a large crater is not considered a WMD. A bomb that causes a nuclear winter is. Use of WMD is forbidden on garden worlds, like Earth, with ecospheres that can readily support a population. If a habitable world is destroyed, it will not be replaced for millions of years. The conventions do not forbid the use of WMD on hostile worlds or in sealed space station environments. Many militaries continue to develop and maintain stockpiles. The conventions graded weapons of mass destruction into tiers of concern. Tier 1 is the greatest threat to galactic peace. Tier 1. Large kinetic impactors such as asteroid drops or deorbiting space stations, effectively free and available in any system. Large kinetic impactors such as asteroid drops or deorbiting space stations, effectively free and available in any system, in the form of debris left over from planetary accretion. Kinetic impactors are the weapon of choice for terrorists and third galaxy nations. Tier 2. Uncontrolled self-replicating weapons, such as nanotechnology, viral or bacteriological organisms, von Neumann devices, and destructive computer viruses. These weapons can lie dormant for millennia, waiting for a careless visitor to carry them onto another world. Tier 3. Large energy burst weapons, such as nuclear or antimatter warheads. Tier 4. Alien species deliberately introduced to crowd out native forms necessary for the health of an ecosystem. Ecological tampering can take years to bear fruit, making it difficult to prove. Okay, so we've got the Citadel Council. The Council is an executive committee composed of representatives from the Asari Republics, the Turian hierarchy, and the Solarian Union. Though they have no official power over the independent governments of other species, the Council's decisions carry great weight throughout the galaxy. No single council race is strong enough to defy the other two, and all have a vested interest in compromise and cooperation. Each of the Council species has genetic characteristics associated with the various aspects of governing the galaxy. The Asari are typically seen as diplomats and mediators. The Solarians gather intelligence and information. The Turians provide the bulk of the military and peacekeeping forces. Any species granted an embassy on the Citadel is considered an associate member, bound by the Accords of the Citadel Conventions. Associate members may bring issues to the attention of the Council, though they have no input on their decision. The Human Systems Alliance became an associate member of the Citadel in 2165. Citadel Space. Citadel Space is an unofficial term referring to any region of space controlled by a species that acknowledges the authority of the Citadel Council. At first glance, it appears this territory encompasses most of the galaxy. In reality, however, less than 1% of the stars have been explored. Even Mass Effect FTL drive is slow relative to the volume of the galaxy. Empty space and systems without suitable drive discharge sites are barriers to exploration. Only the mass relays allow ships to jump hundreds of light years in an instant, the key to expanding across an otherwise impassable galaxy. Whenever a new relay is activated, the destination system is rapidly developed. From that hub, FTL drive is used to expand to nearby star clusters. The result is a number of densely developed clusters thinly spread across the vast expanse of space, connected by the mass relay network. Citadel Security Services, CSEC. Citadel Security is a volunteer police service answering to the Citadel Council. The 200,000 constables of CSEC are responsible for maintaining public order in the densely populated Citadel. They also provide pirate suppression, customs enforcement, and search and rescue throughout the Citadel cluster. CSEC has 6 divisions. Enforcement, unified officers who patrol the Citadel and respond to emergencies. Investigation, detectives who puzzle out the truth behind crimes and bring perpetrators to justice. Customs, screens thousands of passengers and cargo containers that pass through the Citadel's ports every day. Network, deals with cybercrimes like identity and copyright theft, hacking and viral attacks, and illegal artificial intelligence. Special response, deals with hostage situations, bombs, and heavily armed criminals. In the unlikely event that an attack is both the Citadel, they are also the front line of defense, armed with military-grade equipment. Patrol. Naval arm, with ships stationed throughout the Citadel cluster. Unlike the other divisions, they are rarely seen at the Citadel, nor do they stay in one place long. Joining CSEC is prestigious. Applications must be sponsored by a Citadel Councillor or the ambassador of an Associate Council race. Generally, applicants have many years of distinguished service in the military or police forces of their nation, but an inexperienced applicant with demonstrable talent will be fairly considered. CSEC and the Spectres are often at odds. Many CSEC members, notably current executive Venari Palin, believe that allowing Spectres to be above the law is a dangerous practice. The actions of Sarah and Arterius lend credence to this position. The Spectres, in turn, are aggravated when CSEC's dedication to procedure and due process hampers their investigations. As they naturally would, but we will work together because that is the whole point of us being involved in an investigation. Citadel Station Foundations. The undersides of the wards, between the inhabited superstructures and impenetrable outer hull, are called the Foundations. These dangerous areas are filled with life support systems and power plants. Officially, only the Keepers are allowed in the Foundations. In reality, the Foundations are the slums of the Citadel, home to criminals, minorities, transients, and occasional stateless exiles. Some stay in the Foundations of their own will. Others end up there when the opportunities sought in the Citadel do not come. Stations recycling systems are located in the Foundations. These manufacture a variety of artificial organic pastes that can be eaten for sustenance. Okay. They are free and nutritious, but nearly tasteless and of unpleasant texture. Poorer Citadel residents quickly become adept at dressing up this bland fare with sauces and spices, while imported foodstuffs are a popular luxury of the wealthy. Okey-doke. Citadel Presidium Ring. The ring is an enclosed loop of park-like spaces serving as the connection point for the wards. The interior walls are lined with the embassies of influential species and private residence for the galaxy's elite. The Presidium is full of open-air restaurants, bars, and luxurious meeting areas. Gravity is about a third Earth normal. A holographic sky is projected over the ceiling of the ring. Unlike the 24/7 bustle of the wards, the Presidium maintains a 20-hour day schedule, with a 6-hour night where lights are dimmed and the sky goes through a night cycle. Offices and residents are often open to the interior. It is not unusual for embassies to have no exterior wall at all. This does not cause a crime problem due to the heavy CSEC presence and ubiquitous monitoring devices on the Presidium. Thieves are quickly identified and apprehended. Okey-doke. The ring is the location of the Citadel spaceports. Being closer to the center of spin, there is less motion for a ship to match, and the reduced spin gravity makes handling cargo easier. Hundreds of ships pass through the Citadel every day, and every species with an embassy is granted a private dock. The tower at the center of the ring holds the administration of the Citadel Council. The tower rises over a kilometer from the ring, appearing to thrust forward parallel to the ward arms. As the Citadel is at the center of the spin axis, it experiences little centrifugal force. Gravity is maintained using mass effect fields at a 90-degree angle to the ring and wards. A consular dock can be found at the base of the tower. While normally used for diplomatic couriers and inspector business, the shuttles docked here can evacuate the council government in an emergency. Okey-doke. Right, unfortunately that evacuation didn't help the council very much in the Battle of the Citadel. We sacrificed the council. We ignored the council's plea for help in order to defeat Sovereign. Citadel Station, Serpent Nebula. The Citadel is surrounded by a blue-tinted reflection nebula. The light of the nebula is actually light from the Citadel, scattered and reflected back at the station. At first, the Serpent Nebula was assumed to be made of microscopic construction debris. Prevailing theory holds that the Protheans used molecular nanotechnology to manufacture the incredibly durable materials used in the Citadel. But unlike other nebulae, the Serpent does not dissipate over time. Therefore, it must be replenished constantly. Current popular theory is that the non-recyclable waste collected by the Citadel's keepers is somehow rendered down to the atomic and molecular level and ejected into the cloud. The thick nebula presents a navigation hazard. Beyond the relatively clear areas around the Citadel, electrical discharges are common. These are not blocked by kinetic barriers and can severely damage metal-framed starships. In addition, some dense knots of dust can overwhelm the repulsion of kinetic barriers on small ships. If such a vessel is moving fast enough at the time, the effects are similar to being hit by a sandblaster. Attempting to reach the Citadel through open space navigation is unadvisable. The only safe approach is through the Mass Effect relays that orbit it. Oh damn, okay, no, that seems like it would be a natural design from the Reapers. I have been reading these codex logs since I was recording for 34 minutes. I've now been recording for 1 hour and 55 minutes. Wow. Citadel Station Statistics. Although the Citadel is equipped with Mass Effect generating element 0 cores, most of the gravity on the station is generated by the centrifugal force of rotation. Rotation, 3.5 minutes per revolution. Rotational gravity in Wards, 1.02 Earth. Rotational gravity in Presidium is 0.3 Earth. Total length open is 44.7 kilometers. Diameter open is 12.8 kilometers. Ward length is 43.6 kilometers. Ward width is 330 meters. Presidium ring diameter is 7.2 kilometers. Presidium ring width is 553 meters. Exterior armor thickness is 13 meters. Population 13.2 million, not including keepers. Gross weight 7.11 billion metric tons. Wow. Height of the Presidium Tower 1,047 meters. Okay, no. Citadel Station wards. The majority of the Citadel population lives in the wards, the 5 massive arms of the station that house the residential and commercial districts. Many galactic races have established cultural enclaves here. Population density and cost of living are extremely high, akin to Earth cities such as Hong Kong and Singapore. The wards are open-topped with skyscrapers rising from the superstructure. Towers are sealed against vacuum, and the breathable atmosphere envelope is envelope is only maintained to a height of about 7 meters. The atmosphere is contained by the centrifugal force of rotation and a membrane of dense, colorless sulfur hexafluoride gas held in place by carefully managed Mass Effect fields. The view from the wards is spectacular. In the background, stars, Serpent Nebula, and the nearby blue giant called the Widow move across the... in the background, stars, Serpent Nebula, and the nearby blue giant called the Widow move across the sky as the station rotates to stabilize itself. In the foreground, the lights of buildings and vehicles on the opposing ward arms perpetually chime. The Citadel has no real day or night. While the station keeps to standard galactic time for political functions, businesses rarely close, and residents acclimate to sleep and work according to personal need rather than a day and night cycle. Additions and modifications are constantly being constructed, though they must stay within certain specifications that will not compromise the operation of the station. Occasionally, the keepers will descend on an area of the wards and move or change the architecture without explanation. Residents have learned to live with these inexplicable intrusions. We've got the Treaty of Farraxen. Due to the destructive potential of dreadnoughts, the Council races agreed at the Farraxen Naval Conference to fix a ratio of dreadnought construction between themselves. At the top of the pyramid is the peacekeeping Turian fleet. Below the Turians are the other Council races, currently the Asari and Solarians. The Council associate races are at the bottom. The Human Systems Alliance is part of this last group. Really? Okay. After Mass Effect 1, yeah, I feel like this is an old log. I don't think they updated this with the. Excuse me. I don't think they updated this after the effects of Mass Effect 1, because the humans would be able to build 3 in this one in a minute. The ratio of Turian to Council to Associate dreadnoughts is 5 to 3 to 1. For every dreadnought humans are permitted to build, the Asari have 3, and the Turians have 5. So yeah, the humans would be. I mean, I'd be surprised if I'd be surprised if Udina didn't push for us to have 5 or more, but excuse me. But yeah, we should have at least 3 now that we're in the Council, or we are the Council. Humanity and the Systems Alliance. Earth. The homeworld and the capital of humanity is entering a new golden age. The resource wealth of a dozen settled colonies and 100 industrial outposts flows back to Earth, fueling great works of industry, commerce, and art. The great cities are greening as ecology skyscrapers and telecommuting allow more efficient use of land. Earth is still divided among nation-states, though are all affiliated beneath the overarching banner of the Systems Alliance. While every human enjoys a longer and better life than ever, the gap between rich and poor widens daily. Advanced nations have eliminated most genetic disease and pollution. Less fortunate regions have not progressed beyond 20th century technology and are often smug-joked overpopulated slums. Sea levels have risen 2 meters in the last 200 years, and bad weather is common due to environmental damage inflicted during the late 21st century. The past few decades, however, have seen significant improvement due to recent technological advancements. First Contact War. Humanity's first contact with an alien race occurred in 2157. At that time, the Alliance allowed survey fleets to activate any dormant mass relays discovered, a practice considered dangerous and irresponsible by Council-aligned races. When a Turian patrol discovered a human fleet attempting to activate a relay, they attacked. One human vessel survived, retreating to the colony of Shanxi. The Turians followed, quickly defeating the local forces. Shanxi was occupied, the first and to date only human world to be conquered by an alien species. The Turians believed the handful of ships they defeated represented the bulk of human defences, so they were unprepared when the Second Fleet under Admiral Castani Drescher launched a strong counter-offensive, evicting them from Shanxi. The Turians mobilized for full-scale war, drawing the attention of the rest of the galaxy. The Council quickly intervened, forcing a truce. Fortunately for humanity, the First Contact War was ended with a diplomatic solution. Yes, the Turians would probably have wiped us out. Well, they would have conquered us, not wiped us out. Gagarin Station, Jump Zero. Gagarin Station is the largest deep space station built by humanity, a Bernal sphere designed with a 500-meter diameter habitable area. It was constructed beyond Pluto, nearly 80 astronomical units, 12 billion kilometers, from Sol. Moving crew and material to this location bankrupted most of the backers. Gagarin was placed at the inner edge of the heliopause, the point at which the solar wind can no longer push back the interstellar medium. It was built to test a number of faster-than-light drive principles that theoretically could only occur in interstellar space. The station was nicknamed Jump Zero, as it was intended to be the jumping-off point for humanity's expansion into the galaxy. Shortly after the station was completed, the Protean ruins were discovered on Mars, rendering the entire effort moot. That's a bloody oof for all those bankrupted backers. After struggling to make a profit for a decade, Gagarin was sold to the Systems Alliance in 2159 for a fraction of its construction costs. The Alliance refurbished it as a research and training center for the recently rediscovered biotic phenomenon. In 2169, the biotic acclimation and training program was shut down and Gagarin became a general research facility. Its remote location and intentional isolation from the extranet makes it popular for dangerous research, particularly in the field of artificial intelligence. Humanity's first stable AI, the Alliance-sponsored ELISA, achieved sapience at Gagarin in 2172. Today, Gagarin Station has a permanent population of approximately 9,000. A plan has been proposed to move it to the gravitationally stable barycenter point between Pluto and the Chiron relay, allowing it to serve as a gateway facility between the Sol and the Arcturus systems. The high cost of safely moving its mass has delayed this indefinitely. We've got genetic engineering. In the 22nd century, manipulation of the human genome became commonplace. Techniques of genetic engineering advanced to the point where the rich could custom build fetuses that grew into stronger, smarter, and more attractive adults. In more permissive regions, custom designed life forms and uplifted animals occupied an ill-defined niche between property and sapient being. Travel to planets with unique forms of life brought an awareness that Earth's unique biodiversity could be lost if spliced and hybridized to gain useful alien qualities. The Sodom-Walcott Genetic Heritage Act was passed by the Systems Alliance Parliament in 2161. It imposed sharp restrictions on controversial uses of genetic engineering, but provided government subsidies for beneficial applications. Screening and therapy. Most governments provide free assessments and corrective therapy for genetic diseases in prospective parents. This has nearly eliminated everything from cystic fibrosis to nearsightedness. So these things are very rare now. The earlier screening and therapy is performed, the more comprehensive the results. Though ideally performed on artificially fertilized zygotes in a lab, procedures are available for embryos in the womb and newborns, out of respect for personal beliefs. Enhancements. The improvement of natural human abilities is legal, but adding new abilities is not. Treatments to improve strength, reflexes, mental acuity, or appearance are permitted. Adding a tail or the ability to digest cellulose is not. That was a weird word to say. Cellulose is not. There we go. Some genetic enhancement is provided for free to Alliance military recruits, but the average citizen must pay for the privilege. The process can take years to reach fruition in an adult. Engineering. Artificial hybridization of genes from compatible non-human species with human gene code is illegal. Creation of designed life is broadly legal. and mainly used for terraforming and medical applications, but sentient creatures are heavily regulated, and the creation of sapient life is outlawed by both the Systems Alliance and the Citadel Council. Okey-doke. Systems Alliance Geological Survey. As the human race expands its territory and raises the general standard of living, demand for industrial resources continues to grow. Many planets, moons and asteroids contain a wealth of resources, but many systems have barely been charted, let alone thoroughly surveyed. Unmanned probes are one solution, but they are often lost to space hazards, unforeseen circumstances, or theft by salvagers. In recent years, AGES, the Alliance Geological Service, AGES, the Alliance Geological Service, has offered bounties to private individuals or teams willing to perform mineralogical surveys on the frontier. This survey data is made publicly available to further corporate development. Due to the cost of travel and the dangers of operating on hostile worlds, it is rarely a profitable endeavor. Light metals. Metals with low atomic weights are often used in the construction of spacecraft and vehicles. Heavy metals. Metals with higher atomic weights are used to construct equipment components. The platinum group elements are particularly useful. Rare earths. Most useful materials in this category are radioactives or magnets. Gases. Various gases are required to support all known forms of sapient life. Some are commonly used as fuel. Systems Alliance Military Doctrine. The Alliance military is of great concern to the galaxy. At first contact with the Turians, they were completely inexperienced. Turian disdain changed to respect after the relief of Shan-Chi, where the humans surprised them with novel technologies and tactics. The human devotion to understanding and adapting to modern space warfare stunned the staid Council races. For hundreds of years they had lived behind secure walls of long-proven technologies and tactics. The Council regards the Alliance as a sleeping giant. Less than 3% of humans volunteer to serve in their military, a lower proportion than any other species. While competent, Alliance soldiers are neither as professional as the Turians nor as skilled as the Asari. Their strengths lie in fire support, flexibility, and speed. They make up the lack of numbers with sophisticated technical support, BIs, drones, artillery, electronic warfare, an emphasis on mobility and individual initiative. Their doctrine is not based on absorbing and dishing out heavy shocks like the Turians and Krogan. Rather, they bypass enemy strong points and launch deep into their rear, cutting supply lines and destroying headquarters and support units, leaving enemies to wither on the vine. On defense, the human military is a rapid reaction force that lives by Sun Tzu's maxim, "He who tries to defend everything defends nothing." Try me in Stellaris. No, I'm kidding. Garrisons are... no, mate, I love my Reaper roleplay in Stellaris. Oh, yes, I will defend everything, and I will subsume everything. I don't know, whatever. Garrisons are intended for scouting rather than combat, avoiding engagement to observe and report on invaders using drones. The token garrisons of human colonies make it easier for alien powers to secure them, for which the Alliance media criticizes the military. However, the powerful fleets stationed at phase gate nexuses such as Arcturus are just a few hours or days from any colony within their sphere of responsibility. In the event of an attack, they respond with overwhelming force. Systems Alliance military jargon. Ashore. Ashore. When a ship's crew leaves the vessel, they are ashore. Though normally used regarding planets, it can refer to boarding a space station. Away. When a ship releases the equipment, tethering it to a space station or surface dock, it is away. Aye aye, the proper way to acknowledge an order. If told to attack, the correct response is aye aye sir. If asked, are you proud to be a Marine, the correct response is yes sir. ASAP, pronounced ASAP. Or ASAP, pronounced ASAP, an acronym of as soon as possible. Belay, stop, cease. Bridge, the navigation center of a spacecraft where the steering is done. Captain's Mess, non-judicial disciplinary proceedings by unit commanders. CIC, Combat Information Center, the command center of a spacecraft. The CIC is filled with sensor displays to make sense out of the chaos of combat. DC, Damage Control, the containment and repair of damage to a spacecraft. ECM, electronic countermeasures used to avoid enemy sensors from passive emissions masking to active jamming. EVA, extravehicular activity, time spent in a pressure suit outside of a vehicle, spacecraft, or station. Flank. The flank is the side of a military formation. Since the soldiers are facing elsewhere, an enemy that can attack on a flank can often turn it or roll it up. FNG, freaking new guys, a derisive term for inexperienced personnel. Groundside, surface of a planet. Helmsman, crew member who pilots a spacecraft. Radar, Light amplified detection and ranging, an active sensor that bounces lasers off an object to determine its bearing and distance. LiDAR has sufficient resolution that data can be reconstructed into an image. Shore party, spacecraft crews sent ashore on official business. Silent running, an old submariners term used aboard the Normandy to denote when stealth systems are active. SITREP, an abbreviation of Situation Reports, an evaluation of the current military situation. Spacer, someone who has spent most of their life in space. XO, Executive Officer, the second in command of an Alliance warship. The XO is responsible for administrative and personal matters. Okie-doke. Systems Alliance, military ranks. The Alliance uses a modified version of the ranking system that has been used for hundreds of years. Soldiers are classified into rank and file enlisted personnel, experienced non-commissional officers, NCOs, and specially trained officers. The divide between naval personnel and ground forces, Marines, is small. Ground units are a specialized branch of the fleet, just as fighter squadrons are. This unity of command is imposed by the futility of fighting without control of orbit. Without the Navy, an army is pointless. The Marines, as a matter of pride, maintain some of their traditional rank titles. For example, Marines have privates and corporals instead of servicemen. In ascending order of responsibility, the ranks of the Alliance are enlisted, serviceman 3rd class / private 2nd class. Serviceman 2nd class, private 1st class. Serviceman 1st class to corporal. NCOs, service chief, gunnery chief, operations chief. Officers, 2nd lieutenant, 1st lieutenant, staff lieutenant, lieutenant commander, staff commander, captain / major, rear admiral / general, admiral, and fleet admiral. Okie-doke. Systems Alliance N7. This is a short one. The Alliance Military Vocational Code System classifies the career path of all serving personnel. The MVC consists of one letter and one number. A soldier's MVC indicates proficiency, not rank. The letter denotes career path. The number indicates level of experience, as indicated by service record, technical scores, and commendations. All 26 letters are used, and numbers run from 1 to 7. N is the letter code for Special Forces personnel, and Commander Shepard is N7, meaning that he is the highest rank of the Special Forces personnel. He is one of the most skilled. He has achieved the highest rank in terms of skill and proficiency. We've got Terra Firma Party. Terra Firma is an alliance political party formed after the First Contact War. Its policy agenda is based on the principle that Earth must stand firm against alien influences. This covers a variety of legislation. Recent activities by Terra Firma include opposition to a law requiring high school alien language study, a proposal to increase tariffs on alien imports, and leading to a popular movement to mark the First Contact War with a public holiday. Okay. Though founded by well-meaning individuals who feared the submersion of native human cultures under a wave of alien vogue, Terra Firma's agenda attracts many jingoists and xenophobes. Yeah, see, you also need to steer clear of those influences. Like, you need to make sure that you're staying true to the one principle of maintain certain well-argued human traditions, not just steering clear of any alien influence. It's not just any human influence, the specific ones that we've got to avoid. So, timeline. 2069, Armstrong Outpost at Shackleton Crater becomes the first human settlement on Luna. It is formally founded on July the 24th, the 100th anniversary of the first lunar landing. 2103, Lowell City in Eos Casma becomes the first human settlement on Mars. 2137, Eldfell Ashland Energy Corporation demonstrates helium-3 fuel extraction from the atmosphere of Saturn. 2142. Construction of Gagarin Station, Jump Zero, begins beyond the orbit of Pluto. 2148. Prospectors discover the Prothean ruins at Promethae Planum on Mars. 2149. Translation of Prothean data leads humans to the Charon Mass Relay. Systems Alliance founded to coordinate exploration and colonization of extrasolar worlds. 2151. A shipping accident at Singapore International Spaceport exposes downwind communities to containers of dust form element 0. Alliance begins construction of Arcturus Station. 2152. Roughly 30% of the children born in Singapore after element 0 exposure suffer from cancerous growths. Systems Alliance begins settlement of Earth's first extrasolar colony world, the planet Demeter. In 2154, Commander Shepard is born. In 2155, Systems Alliance occupies completed portions of Arcturus stations as a headquarters. 2156. Some children of Singapore exhibit minor telekinetic abilities. 2157. Turians encounter human explorers. First Contact War. Occupation and liberation of the human colony of Shanxi. 2158. Humans learn potential of biotics. An international effort to track element zero exposures begins. Roughly 10% of exposed children show some level of biotic ability. 2160. Systems Alliance Parliament formed. 2165. Humans establish embassy on Citadel. 2170. Batarian slaves attack the Alliance colony of Mindwar. So that was when Commander Shepard was a child. Wait. 2154. Oh, so he was 16. Yeah, there you go. So that would be where Commander Shepard was 16 and he would have lost his family on Mindwar. That's the order that we picked. 2176. During the Skillian Blitz, pirates and slavers attacked Elysium, the human capital at the Skillian Verge, which would make Commander Shepard 22 when he fought off the Skillian Blitz. 2177. Thresher Moors devour the Alliance colony of Akuz. 2178. In retaliation for the Skillian Blitz, an Alliance fleet wipes out an army of slavers on the moon of Torfan. 2183. Geth, led by Rogue Spectre Saren Artirius, attacked the Citadel, ensuing in a battle that cost thousands of lives. A few weeks later, the SSV Normandy is ambushed and destroyed. Commander Shepard is presumed dead. 2185. Current date. So we have been brought back to life. We have regained consciousness 2 years after the events of Mass Effect 1, when we were presumed dead. Okie doke. So 85. So we're like what, 30 then, nearly? Where is it? No, where Commander Shepard is born, 2154. Yeah. Did they say 85? Yeah, so we're 31 at this point. Wow. Okie doke. Yeah. Alright then. Okie doke. Planets and locations. Ilos. Like the ancient human colony of Troy, Ilos is a world known only through second-hand sources. References to Ilos have been found at several other Prothean ruins, though direct study of the world is unlikely to occur. Ilos lies in a remote area of the Terminus systems, only accessible by the legendary Mu Relay. 4,000 years ago, the Mu Relay was knocked out of position by a supernova and lost. Since then, Ilos and its cluster have been inaccessible. Occasionally, a university will organize an expedition to chart a route to Ilos using conventional FTL drives. These never get beyond the planning stages due to the distance and danger. The journey could take years or decades, passing through the hostile Terminus systems and dozens of unexplored systems. Okay, nope. Vermeer. Vermeer is a lush world located on the frontier of the African Traverse. Its vast seas and orbital position on the inner life zone have created a wide equatorial band of humid tropical terrain. Only the political instability of the region has impeded efforts at colonization. Many times, the Citadel has opened negotiations to settle Vermeer with the various criminal gangs and petty dictatorships in the nearby Terminus systems. All fell apart due to internal power shifts within the opposing parties. The Citadel has written off the colonization of Vermeer as impossible without significant political change. The Terminus powers themselves are unlikely to ever settle Vermeer. Most lack the resources to support settlement of a virgin world, finding it more expedient to steal from their neighbours than build for themselves. Okie doke. Ships and vehicles. FTL drive. Faster-than-light drives use element zero cores to reduce the mass of the ship, allowing higher rates of acceleration. This effectively raises the speed of light within the Mass Effect field, allowing high-speed travel with negligible relativistic time dilation effects. Starships still require conventional thrusters, chemical rockets, commercial fusion torch, economy ion engine, or military anti-proton drive, in addition to the FTL drive core. With only a core, a ship has no motive power. The amount of ESO and power required for a drive increases exponentially to the mass being moved and the degree it is being licensed. Very massive ships or very high speeds are prohibitively expensive. If the field collapses while the ship is moving at faster than light speed, the effects are catastrophic. The ship is snapped back to sublight velocity. The enormous excess energy shed in the form of lethal Cherenkov radiation, which will probably cook the crew alive in an instant. FTL drive. Appearance. New space travelers ask, What does it look like outside a ship moving at faster than light speed? Part of the answer can be seen in a simple pane of glass. Light travels slower through glass than it does through open air. Light also moves slower in conventional space than it does in a high-speed mass effect field. This causes refraction. Any light entering at an angle is bent and separated into a spectrum. Objects outside the ship will appear refracted. The greater the difference between the object's exterior and subjective interior speeds of light, the greater the refraction. As the subjective speed of light is raised within a field, objects outside will appear to redshift. So as the subjective speed of light is raised within the field, objects will appear to redshift, eventually becoming visible only to radio telescope antenna. High-energy electromagnetic sources normally hidden to the eye become visible to the high blue spectrum. As the speed of light continues to be raised, X-ray, gamma-ray, and eventually cosmic ray sources become visible. Stars will be replaced by pulsars, the accretion disks of black holes, quasars, and gamma-ray bursts. To an outside observer, a ship within a mass effect drive envelope appears blue-shifted. If within a field that allows travel at twice the speed of light, any radiation it emits has twice the energy as normal. If the ship is in a field of about 200 times light speed, it radiates visible light as X-rays and gamma rays, and the infrared heat from the hull is blue shifted upward to the visible spectrum or higher. Ships moving at FTL are visible at great distances, though their signature will only propagate at the speed of light. We've got the FTL drive charge. As positive or negative electric current is passed through an FTL drive core, it acquires a static electrical charge. Drives can be operated at averages of 50 hours before they can reach charge saturation. This change is proportional to the magnitude of mass reduction. A heavier or faster ship reaches saturation more quickly. If the charge is allowed to build, the core will discharge into the hull of a ship. All ungrounded crew members are fried to a crisp. All electronic systems are burnt out, and metal bulkheads may be melted and fused together. The safest way to discharge a core is to land on a planet and establish a connection to the ground, like a lightning rod. Larger vessels like dreadnoughts cannot land and must discharge into a planetary magnetic field. The ship passes the charge from the drive core to the exterior armored hull, then drives into the magnetic field. As the hull discharges, sheets of lightning jump away from the field, creating beautiful auroral displays on the planet. The ship must retract its sensors and weapons while dumping charge to prevent damage, leaving it blind and helpless. Discharging at a moon with a weak magnetic field can take days. Discharging into the powerful field of a gas giant may require less than an hour. Deep space facilities such as the Citadel often have special discharge facilities for visiting ships. Good to know. Space combat. Combat endurance. Heat limits the length and intensity of ship-to-ship combat. Starships generate enormous heat when they fire at high-energy weapons. Perform maneuvering burns and run on-board combat electronics. In combat, warships produce heat more quickly than they can disperse it. As heat builds within a vessel, crewed space becomes increasingly uncomfortable. Before the heat reaches lethal levels, a ship must win or retreat by entering FTL. After an FTL run, the ship halts, shuts down non-essential systems, and activates the heat radiation gear. Combat endurance varies by ship design and by the battle's location. Battles in the deep cold of interstellar space can go on for some time. Engagements close to a star are brief. Since habitable worlds are usually close to a star, battles over them are frantic. Special combat general tactics. Shells lofted by surface navies crash back to Earth when their acceleration is overwhelmed by gravity and air resistance. In space, a projectile has unlimited range. It will keep moving until it hits something. Practical gunnery range is determined by the velocity of the attacker's ordnance and the maneuverability of the target. Beyond a certain range, a small ship's ability to dodge trumps a larger attacker's projectile speed. The longest range combat occurs between dreadnoughts, whose projectiles have the highest velocity but are the least maneuverable. The shortest range combat is between frigates, which have the slowest projectile velocities and highest maneuverability. Opposing dreadnoughts open with a main gun artillery duel at extreme ranges of tens of thousands of kilometers. The fleets close, maintaining evasive lateral motion while keeping their bow guns facing the enemy. Fighters are launched and attempts to close to and attempt to close the disrupted torpedo range. Cautious admirals weaken the enemy with ranged fire and fighter strikes before committing to close action. Aggressive commanders advance so cruisers and frigates can engage. At long range, the main guns of cruisers become useful. Friendly interceptors engage enemy fighters until the attackers enter the range of ship-based Guardian fire. Dreadnoughts fire from the rear, screened by smaller ships. Commanders must decide whether to commit to a general melee or retreat into FDL. At medium range, ships can use broadside guns. Fleets intermingle and it becomes difficult to retreat in order. Ships with damaged kinetic barriers are vulnerable to Wolfpack frigate flotillas that speed through the battle space. Only fighters and frigates enter close knife fight ranges of 10 or fewer kilometers. Fighters lose their disrupt torpedoes, bringing down a ship's kinetic barriers and allowing it to be swarmed by frigates. Guardian laser becomes viable weapons, swatting down fighters and boiling away warship armor. Nope. Neither dreadnoughts nor cruisers can use their main guns at close range. Laying the bow on a moving target becomes impossible. Superheated thruster exhaust becomes a hazard. So basically a dreadnought isn't going to do very well against the Normandy if the Normandy gets close enough, because the dreadnought basically just has one big gun that goes from one side of the ship to the other, so you would have to rotate the entire ship to stay on top of the gun, just to get the gun in range to shoot. I've been recording for nearly 2.5 hours. Space combat, planetary assaults. Planetary assaults are complicated if the target is a habitable garden world. The attackers cannot approach the defenders straight on. The Citadel conventions prohibit the use of large kinetic impactors against habitable worlds. In a straight-on attack, any misses plow into the planet behind the defending fleet. If the defenders position themselves between the attackers and the planet, they can fire at will while the attacker risks hitting the planet. Successful attacks on garden worlds hinge upon up-to-date intelligence. Attackers need to determine where the enemy's defenses are, so they may approach from an angle that allows them to fire with no danger of collateral damage. Note, this is not necessary for hostile worlds. Once control of orbit has been lost, defensive garrisons disperse into the wilderness. An enemy with orbital superiority can bombard surface forces with impunity. The best option for defenders is to hide and collect reconnaissance in anticipation of relief forces. Given the size of a planet, it is impractical to garrison entire conquered worlds. Fortunately, colonization efforts tend to focus on building up a dozen or fewer areas. Ground forces occupy the spaceports, industrial facilities, and major population centers. The wilderness is patrolled by unmanned aerial vehicles and satellite reconnaissance. If a defender unit is spotted, air mobile rapid deployment units and satellite artillery are used to pin down and destroy them. This video will likely go on for long enough that it overtakes the Warframe video that comes after it, for God's sake. Space combat trans-relay assaults. The crucial choice for any attack through mass relays is how to divide the fleet for transit. The accuracy of a relay's mass projection depends on the mass being moved and how far it's going. Any long distance and or high mass jump will see drift. That is, a ship may be hundreds or millions of kilometers from its intended drop point, in any direction from the relay. Distance can't be chosen by admirals, but a relay is told how much mass to transit. For example, if told to move 1 million metric tons of mass, the relay will scan the approach corridor, find four 250,000 ton freighters, and transit them together, maintaining their relative positions. Alright. Interesting. A commander has the option of moving his fleet as one large coherent formation that may be wildly off position, or breaking it up into many small formations that will be individually close to the intended attack point, but could be wildly dispersed. Conservative assault doctrine holds that fleets should be moved en masse, maintaining concentration of force and reducing the chances of collision. The only time it is reasonable to split by formation is during blockade running. Starships carriers. All races provide their fleets with organic fighter support. Cruisers fit a handful in space between the interior pressure hulls and exterior armor. Dreadnoughts have a hangar deck within the hull. Humans who had only recently graduated from surface to space combat were the first to build ships wielding fighters as their main armaments. In fleet combat, carriers stay clear of battle, launching fighters bearing disruptor torpedoes. Fighters are the primary striking power of the ship. If a carrier enters mass accelerator range of the enemy, things have gone very wrong. It is possible to recover and rearm fighters during combat, though most carriers seal the flight deck and try to stay out of the way. The flight deck is essentially a corridor through the armor and into the heart of the vessel. A single well-placed torpedo is enough to gut a carrier. Okie doke. Alright. Alliance carriers are named after great leaders, artists, and intellectuals from human history. So we've got starships, crew considerations. Cabins give each individual 10 cubic meters of space. On larger vessels, private rooms are common. As ships get smaller, the number of crew packed into a single wardroom increases. Asari preferred shared spaces even on large vessels, while Krogan territorial instincts make it impossible for them to cohabitate even on the smaller ships. On smaller vessels, hot bunking is a norm. Crew members assigned to different watches share the same bunk. When one gets off duty, he wakes up the person in the bunk. While that crewman is on duty, the first gets his rack time. Spacecraft compartments can be isolated by airtight doors in case of decompression. The cinematic vision of explosive decompression is fiction. Hold compartments either take enough damage that occupants are killed instantly, or leak slowly enough that they are able to reach protective gear. Okie doke. Compartments are equipped within. My laptop is running out of battery in the time that it's taking me to read all these codex logs. And don't forget that I was already reading the codex logs for ages before I took my laptop off battery in order to stop the crosswires from causing a weird glitch. But oh well. A weird staticky noise. But oh well. We'll charge back up. We should be fine. Compartments are equipped with emergency life support apparatus, fireproof plastic bubbles with air bottles. Small when stowed, ELSA comfortably accommodates one individual when inflated. Damage control procedure cuts off ventilation to burning compartments. Without oxygen to consume, fires die in seconds. The compartment is repressurized afterwards for crew recovery. Mass Effect fields create an artificial gravity, aircraft plane, below the decks, preventing muscle atrophy and bone loss in 0G. Large vessels arrange their decks perpendicular to their thrust axes. The highest decks are at the bow and the lowest at the engines. This allows aircraft to work with the inertial effects of thrust. Ships that can land arrange their decks laterally, so the crew can move about while the vessel is on the ground. Warships normally turn off their aircraft systems during combat, reducing the heat generated by systems and increasing combat endurance. To provide a point of reference for navigating in 0G, floors are painted a different colour from the walls and ceilings. Okie doke. Starships, cruisers. Cruiserweight starships are the standard combat unit encountered away from large naval bases, the poor bloody infantry of most fleets. Nimble scouting frigates have neither the punch nor the stamina to stand up to serious combat, and the mighty dreadnoughts are a strategic resource, carefully hoarded and committed to the most critical battles. Cruisers perform routine, independent, show-the-flag patrols in settled systems and lead flotillas of frigates in small engagements, such as pirate suppression campaigns. In major fleet engagements, cruiser squadrons support the dreadnought battle line by screening their flanks against enemies attempting to maneuver for a main gun bow shot from their vulnerable broadsides. Alliance cruisers are named after cities of Earth. Starships, fighters. Fighters are single-pilot combat small craft. I've been at this for 2 hours, leave me alone. They are lightweight enough that they can be economically fitted with powerful element 0 cores, making them capable of great acceleration and sharper maneuvers than starships. Kinetic barrier shields change starships' battles from short, vicious bloodbaths to extended, indecisive slugging matches. Only the main gun of a dreadnought could punch a mass accelerator slug through the barriers of an opposing dreadnought. This changed with the development of the fighter-launched mass disruptor torpedo, a short-range weapon that can penetrate kinetic barriers to destroy their projector assemblies. Starship Guardian defenses must be overwhelmed through swarm tactics. Fighter groups can take heavy casualties pressing their torpedo attacks home. Once fighter-launched torpedoes have crippled an enemy's barriers, the mass accelerators on frigates and cruisers can make short work of them. Interceptors are a type of fighter optimized to attack other fighters, with no ability to damage starships. Interceptors are used to screen friendly units from incoming fighter attack. Okie doke. Starships. Heat management. Dispersal of heat generated by onboard systems is a critical issue for a ship. If it cannot deal with heat, the crew may be cooked within the hull. Radiation is the only way to shed heat in a vacuum. Civilian vessels utilize large, fragile radiator panels that are impossible to armor. Warships use diffuse radiator arrays (DRA), ceramic strips along the exterior of the armored hull. These make the ship appear striped due to thermographic sensors. Since the arrangement of the ships depends on the internal configuration of the ship, the patterns for each vessel are unique and striking. On older ships, the DRA strips could become red or white hot, dubbed tiger stripes or war paint by humans. War paint by humans. The glowing DRA had a psychological impact on pirates and irregular forces. Strip radiators are not as efficient as panels, but if damaged by enemy fire, the ship only loses a small portion of its total radiation capacity. In most cases, a vessel's DRA alone allows it to cruise with no difficulties. Operations deep within a solar system can cause problems. A ship engaged in combat can produce titanic amounts of heat from maneuvering, burn, and weapons fire. When fighting in a high-heat environment, warships employ high-efficiency droplet heat sinks. In a droplet system, tanks of liquid sodium or lithium absorb heat within the ship. This liquid is vented from spray nozzles near the bow as a thin sheet of millions of micrometer scale droplets. The droplets are caught in the stern and recycled into the system. A droplet system can sink 10 to 100 times as much heat as DRA strips. Droplet sheets resemble a surface ship's wake through the water. The wake peels out in sharp turns, spreading a fan of droplets as the ship changes vectors and leaves the coolant behind. Okay, so we've got starship sensors. Light lag prevents sensing in real time at great distances. A ship firing its thrusters at the Charon relay can be easily detected from Earth 5.75 light hours, 6 billion kilometers away, but Earth will only see the event 5 hours and 45 minutes after it occurs. Due to the light speed limit, defenders can't see enemies coming until they have already arrived. Because there is FTL travel and communications, but no FTL sensors, frigates are crucial for scouting and picket duties. Passive sensors are used for long-range detection, while active sensors obtain short-range, high-quality targeting data. Passive sensors include visual, thermographic, and radio detectors that watch and listen for objects in space. A powered ship emits a great deal of energy. The heat of the life support systems, the radiation given off by the power plant and the electrical equipment, and the exhaust of the thrusters. Starships stand out plainly against a near absolute zero background space. Passive sensors can be used during FTL travel, but incoming data is significantly distorted by the effects of the mass effect relay, envelope, and Doppler shift. Active sensors and radars are high-resolution LiDARs, laser detection and ranging, that emit a ping of energy and listen for return signals. LiDARs have a narrower field of view than radar, but LiDAR resolution allows images of detected objects to be assembled. Active sensors are useless when a ship is moving at FTL speeds. Okay, nope. We've got 3 more. And we've got 2 more big categories. Starships, thrusters. A Mass Effect drive core decreases the mass of a bubble of space-time around a ship. This gives the ship the potential to move quickly, but does not apply any motive power. Ships use their supplied thrusters for motive power at FTL. There are several varieties of thruster, varying in performance versus economy. All ships are equipped with arrays of hydrogen-oxygen reaction control thrusting for maneuvering. Ion drives electrically accelerate charged protocols at a reaction mass. They are extremely efficient, but produce negligible thrust. They are mainly used for automated cargo barges. The primary commercial engine is a fusion torch, which bends the plasma of the ship's power plant. Fusion torches offer power acceleration at the cost of difficult-to-keep management. Torch fuel is fairly cheap. Helium-3 skimmed from gas giants and deuterium extracted from seawater or cometary bodies. Propellant is hydrogen, likewise skimmed from gas giants. In combat, military vessels require accelerations beyond the capability of fusion torches. Warship thrusters inject antiprotons into a reaction chamber filled with hydrogen. The matter-antimatter annihilation provides unmatched motive power. The drawback is fuel production. Antiprotons must be manufactured 1 particle at a time. Most antimatter production is done at massive solar arrays orbiting energetic stars, making them high-value targets in wartime. The exhaust of fusion and antiproton vessels is measured in millions of degrees Celsius. Any vessel caught behind them will melt like wax in a blowtorch. Any long-range interstellar flight consists of 2 phases. Any long-range duration interstellar flight consists of 2 phases: acceleration and deceleration. Starships accelerate to the halfway point of their journey, then flip 180 degrees and apply thrust in the opposite vector. decelerating as they finish the trip. The engines are always operating, and peak speed is attained at the middle of the flight. Okey-doke. Weapons, abrasive armor. Yeah, I like how, by the way, the idea of ships boosting to as much speed as possible to the middle of the flight, and then flipping, and then applying the thrusters to slow themselves down. That does not happen in the game. That's something that they say happens, but that's not something that we will ever see happen. In fact, as with the Normandy, for example, and yes, I know it's a prototype ship designed by the humans and Turians, it basically just slows down like on its own. It's like, well, that's not. It just slows down almost as if it's lowering thruster speed, not almost as if it's. I'm not getting into it. So we've got weapons, ablative armor. A warship's kinetic barriers reduce the damage from solid objects, but can do nothing to block Guardian lasers, particle beams, and other forms of directed energy weapon (DEW). The inner layers of warship protection consist of ablative armor plate designed to boil away when heated. The vaporized armor material scatters a DEW beam, rendering it ineffectual. A scaffold is built around the interior pressure hull, with sheets of ablative armor hung from the structure. Ships typically have multiple layers of armor separated by empty baffles, spaces often used for cargo storage. Cruisers, which lack the internal space to fit dedicated fighter hangars, store their shipboard fighter complement in the baffles. It is not unknown for enlisted crews to build illicit alcohol distilleries in some obscure corner of the baffles, safe from prying eyes. Weapons, Guardian. A ship's General Area Defense Integration Anti-Spacecraft Network, Guardian, consists of anti-missile/anti-fighter laser turrets on the exterior hull. Because these act under computer control, the gunnery control officer needs to do little beyond turn the system on and designate targets as hostile. Since lasers move at light speed, they cannot be dodged by anything moving at non-relativistic speed. Unless the beam is aimed poorly, it will always hit its target. In the early stages of a battle, the Guardian fire is 100% accurate. It is not 100% lethal, but it doesn't have to be. Damaged fighters must break off for repairs. Lasers are limited by diffraction. The beams spread out, decreasing the energy density, watts per m squared, or m2. Is that supposed to be m squared? I don't know. The weapon can be placed on a target. Lasers are limited by diffraction. The beam spreads out, decreasing the energy density the weapon can place on a target. Any high-powered laser is a short-range weapon. Guardian networks have another limitation: heat. Weapons-grade lasers require cool-down time, during which heat is transferred to sinks or radiators. As lasers fire, heat builds within them, reducing damage, range, and accuracy. Fighters attack in swarms. The first few will be hit by Guardian, but as battle continues, the effects of laser overheat allow the attackers to press ever closer to the ship. Constant use will burn out a laser. Guardian lasers typically operate in infrared frequencies. Shorter frequencies would offer superior stopping power and range, but degradation of focal arrays and mirrors would make them expensive to maintain, and most prefer mechanical reliability over bleeding-edge performance where lives are concerned. Solarians, however, use near-ultraviolet frequency lasers with 6 times the range, believing that having additional time to shoot down incoming missiles is more important. Lasers are not blocked by the kinetic barriers of capital ships. However, the range of lasers are not blocked by the kinetic barriers of capital ships. However, the range of lasers limits their use to rare knife fight range ship-to-ship combat. Okay. Technology: biotic amps. Biotics manipulate Mass Effect fields using dozens of element zero nodules within their nervous systems that react to electric stimuli from the brain. Amplifiers allow biotics to synchronize the nodules so they can form fields large and strong enough for impractical use. Amplifiers can improve a specific discipline or talent. An implant is a surgically embedded interface port into which amps are plugged in. On humans, the implant is usually placed at the base of the skull for convenient access, though the user must be careful to keep it free of contaminants. Implant ports can fit a variety of amps, and there is a growing market for modifications and add-ons. The finest quality implants and amps are manufactured by Asari artisans, but the Alliance's L3 implants, first deployed in 2170, are a significant step forward. Biotics. Life as a biotic. Biotics possess extraordinary abilities, but they must live with minor inconveniences. The most obvious issue is getting adequate nutrition. Creating biotic Mass Effects takes such a toll on metabolism that active biotics develop ravenous appetites. The standard Alliance combat ration for a soldier is 3,000 calories per day. Biotics are given 4,500, as well as a canteen, a potent energy drink for quick refreshment after hard combat. Another issue is electric charge. Electricity accumulated in Starship drive cores must be discharged, and so must the electricity in a biotic user. Biotics are prone to small static discharges when they touch metal. Unfortunately, human biotics also face suspicion and persecution, beginning with the popular misconception that they can read and control minds. Biotics symbolize the dehumanization of mankind to people philosophically or religiously opposed to gene modification and cybernetics. Militaries are the only organizations that always welcome biotics, offering them huge recruitment incentives. Biotics training. Biotic implant and amplifiers only provide the potential to create coherent mass effect fields. Whether biotics can actually do so is largely determined by their training. Biotics must develop conscious control over their nervous systems, sending specific electrical impulses to the element 0 nodules embedded in their nerves. They are taught to use their implants and amps with biofeedback devices and physical mnemonics. Specific gestures or muscle movements fire the proper sequence of nerves to activate a certain skill. Kinetics Industries pioneered biotic training with the Biotic Acclimation and Temperance Training Program. Although BAAT did not achieve the desired results, many techniques taught are still used today. Many human think tanks are trying to develop some form of biotic super soldier. Most are benign efforts to create more flexible troops. Others, less publicly known, are unapologetic attempts to create Knightsian Supermen. Okay. Communications. Real-time communication is possible thanks to networks of expensive mass relay convoys that can daisy-chain a transmission via lasers. Convoys are maintained in patterns built outward from each mass relay. The buoys are little more than a cluster of primitive miniature mass relays. Each individual buoy is connected to a partner on another buoy in the network, forming a corridor of low-mass space. Tight beam communication lasers are piped through these tubes of FDL space, allowing virtually instantaneous communication to anywhere on the network. The networks connect across regions by communications lasers through the mass relays. With this system, the communications delay is the light lag between the source or destination and the closest buoy. So long as all parties remain within half a light second, 150,000 kilometers of buoys, seamless real-time communications are possible. Since buoys are maintained in all traveled areas, most enjoy unlimited instant communication. Ships only suffer communications lag when operating off established deep space routes, around uninhabited outer system gas giants or other unsettled areas. During wartime, convoy networks are the first target of attack. Once the network is severed, it can take anywhere from weeks to years to get a message out of a contested system. In systems where a buoy network has not yet been built or has been destroyed, rapid communication means ferrying information through high-speed courier ships or unmanned data drones. Communications administration. While convoys allow rapid transmission, there is a finite amount of bandwidth available. Given that trillions of people may be trying to pass a message through a given buoy at any one time, access to the network is parceled out on priority tiers. The Citadel Council and the Spectres have absolute priority. If they are using all the bandwidth, everyone else must wait. Individual governments and their militaries enjoy the next highest tier. During wartime, civilian communication can suffer hours or even days of lag. Intelligence agencies study ping time through various systems to predict military buildups. Below the governments and militaries, bandwidth priority is sold to the highest bidder. Media conglomerates, particularly headline news networks, purchase higher priority to provide their viewers with timely information. Corporations that require timely information and response capability, for example financial institutions and investment firms, also invest heavily in priority access. The funds acquired through sales of bandwidth are used to maintain and expand the communications infrastructure. While everyone with a computer has guaranteed free and unlimited access to the galactic extranet, they are last in line for bandwidth and may have to wait for their requests to be processed. Bandwidth resale corporations use investment capital to purchase blocks of high-priority access, made available by paid subscription. Communications methodology. As the population of the galaxy increases and new worlds are settled, timely access for home users and frontier settlements with underdeveloped communication infrastructure is a growing problem. To ameliorate bandwidth users, a sophisticated array of data caches and virtual intelligence search agent programs are available. When a user submits a query, it is first routed to the data cache on their colony or star system. At the cache, the user's search agent VI collates mountains of locally stored data to find the desired material. If the information is not available locally, the query is passed along to neighboring systems, and then outward in an expanding network. VI search agents in those systems replicate the search. If the desired information is found, it is compressed into a burst file and queued for transmission to the source system. The burst is assigned a priority based on the number of queries for it. The greater the number of queries, the higher the priority. When a new solar system is first connected to the net, a selection of the most popular data is installed locally. Though storage hardware is cheap, the capacity to though storage hardware is cheap, the capacity required to hold all the data produced every day by trillions of people on hundreds of worlds is not trivial. It's not economical to store local copies of all the data available on obscure topics just in case. As colonies mature, older and less popular chunks of data filter into them as a result of queries that are placed in the local archive. Searches for obscure topics are increasingly likely to produce instant results as the data grows. Okay, cool. Computers, artificial intelligence, AI. An artificial intelligence is a self-aware computing system capable of learning and independent decision-making. Creation of a conscious AI requires adaptive code, a slow, expensive education, and a specialized quantum computer called a blue box. An AI cannot be transmitted across a communication channel or computer network. Without its blue box, an AI is no more than data files. Loading these files into a new blue box will create a new personality, as variations in the quantum hardware and runtime results create unpredictable variations. The Geth serve as a cautionary tale against the dangers of rogue AI, as in Citadel space they are technically illegal. Advocacy groups argue, however, that an AI is a living, conscious entity deserving the same rights as organics. They argue that continued use of the term artificial is institutionalized racism on the part of organic life. The term synthetic is considered the politically correct alternative. First off, those two things are synonyms, and second, I don't think AI cares whether or not you say artificial or synthetic. First off, we can't decide for them what the preferred term is, and given the fact that we have illegalized artificial life, I don't think we're going to be having many battles on which term is appropriate. Computers, virtual intelligence, VI. Okido, we're nearly at the end of this category. A virtual intelligence is an advanced form of user interface software. VIs use a variety of methods to stimulate natural conversation, including an audio interface and an avatar personality to interact with. Although a VI can provide a convincing emulation of sentience, they are not self-aware, nor can they learn or take independent action. VIs are used as operating systems on commercial and home computers. Minimal VI agents are also available. Agents are compact and specialized. Some serve as personal secretaries, filtering calls and scheduled meetings based on user-defined priorities. Others are advanced search engines, propagating themselves across the extranet to collate user-requested data. Commercial VIs in a variety of stock personalities are available at any software retailer. Boutique firms and hobbyists also build unique VIs to personal specifications. Although software emulation of living personalities is illegal, reconstructions of famous historical figures are common. Okidoke, credits or creds. The standard credit was established by the Citadel's Unified Banking Act as the currency of interstellar trade, formed by the Volus, I believe. The credit has a managed floating exchange rate, calculated in real time by the central bank to maintain the average value of all participating currencies. Some reasonable currencies are worth more than a credit and some less. Hard currency can be stolen or counterfeited, so electronic fund transfers are the norm. More importantly, physical transactions cannot be easily tracked, making them ideal for tax evasion or the purchase of illegal goods. When the Alliance joined the Citadel, its various national treasures were linked into the credit network. A human with a bank account of Mexican pesos, Japanese yen, or Indian rupees can purchase any item priced in credits at fair market value. All economies that participate in the credit network are required to price items in both local currency and credits. Good to know. We've got drones. Drones are small robots used to support and supplement organic soldiers on the battlefield. They have no artificial intelligence of any kind, but follow fixed, minimally adaptive programs. Most varieties employ mass effect levitation to improve mobility. All modern armies rely on veritable fleets of drones for routine soldering, static garrisons, patrols, and etc. The use of drones in non-critical duties keeps manpower needs down and reduces casualties in low-intensity conflicts. Less advanced races and cultures with less sensitivity casualties have correspondingly fewer drones in their infantry. Drones are of little use in conventional open-field battles, as they are poorly armed and armored. In addition to combat drones, support drones are used to assist organic units in the field. Reconnaissance drones are small, stealthy craft that screen combat units in the field and warn commanders when enemies are spotted. Uh, Electronic warfare drones supplement battlefield technicians, serving as mobile jammers and ELINT, electronic intelligence gathering platforms. Electronic intelligence gathering platforms. Military and civilian police utilize dazzler drones equipped with powerful strobe lights to disorient and subdue intruders upon using non-lethal force. Drone formations are officially referred to as wings, i.e. deploy the 4th Assault Drone Wing on the left flank. Common soldiers are often referred to friendly formations as flocks, and enemy formations as swarms. Okie doke, good to know. Weapons, armor, and equipment. Here we are, the last category. Body armor. Modern combat hardsuits have a triple canopy of protection: shields, armor, and self-repair. The outermost layer is created through kinetic barrier emitters, which detect objects incoming at a high rate of speed and generate deflecting shields, providing they have enough energy in their power cells. If a bullet or other incoming object gets past the barrier, it contends with the more traditional body armor. A sealed suit of non-porous ballistic cloth provides kinetic and environmental protection, reinforced by lightweight composite ceramic plates in areas that either don't need to flex or require additional coverage, such as the chest and head. When the armor is hit by directed energy weapons, the plates boil away or ablate rather than burning the wearer. The last level of protection is provided by the suit's microframe computers, whose input detectors are woven through the fabric. These manage the self-healing system, which finds rents in the fabric, and assuming that any such tear would wound the flesh underneath, seals the area off with sterile, non-conductive medigel. This staunches minor wounds and plugs holes in the suits that could prove fatal in vacuum or toxic environments. Soldiers are not always fond of the squish skin that oozes gel on them at a moment's notice, but fatalities have dropped sharply since the system was implemented. Okido, I mean, it seems fair. Yes, we're nearing the end. Come on, guys, we've got this. Nearly 3 hours recording. This is going to tear my storage space up like you wouldn't believe. It's going to be like 60 gigs for each goddamn file. Wow, it's going to maybe even more. I don't know. No, it should be about that, I don't know. Kinetic barriers, commonly called shields, provide protection against most mass-accelerated weapons. Whether on a starship or a soldier's suit of armor, the basic principle remains the same. Kinetic barriers are repulsive mass effect fields projected from tiny emitters. These shields safely deflect small amounts traveling at rapid velocities. This affords protection from bullets and other dangerous projectiles, but still allows the user to sit down, knocking away their chair. The shielding afforded by kinetic barriers does not protect against extremes of temperature, toxins, or radiation. Mass accelerators. A mass accelerator propels a solid metal slug using precisely controlled electromagnetic attraction and repulsion. The slug is designed to squash or shatter on impact, increasing the energy it transfers to the target. If this were not the case, it would simply punch a hole right through, doing minimal damage. Accelerated design, well, unless it's to the head, surely that would just kill with a headshot, but I didn't bring that up actually in the first game, but oh well. Accelerated design was revolutionized by Element Zero. A slug lightened by a mass effect field can be accelerated to greater speeds, permitting projectile velocities that were previously unattainable. If accelerated to a high enough velocity, a simple paint chip can impact with the same destructive force as a nuclear weapon, theoretically. However, and what I mean by theoretically is, I mean I don't think we're ever going to get Mass Effect speeds to that speed, because what happens to nuclear weapons at that point? Anyway. However, mass accelerators produce recoil equal to their impact energy. This is mitigated somewhat by the mass effect fields that rounds are suspended within, but weapon recoil is still the prime limiting factor on slug velocity. Small arms. Modern infantry weapons are micro-scale mass accelerators, using mass-induced weapons and magnetic force to propel miniature slugs to lethal speed. Nearly every gun on the battlefield is laden with features, from targeting auto-assist to projectile shavers that can generate thousands of rounds from ammunition from a small internal block of metal. It was long thought that personal weapons had plateaued in performance, but the Geth proved all theories wrong. Mathematically reviewing their combat logs, the Geth found that in an age of kinetic barriers, most firefights were won by the sides who could put the most rounds down range the fastest, but combatants were forced to deliberately shoot slower to manage waste heat, or pause as their weapons vented. To eliminate this inefficiency, the Geth adopted detachable heat sinks known as thermal clips, while organic arms manufacturers were initially doubtful this would produce a net gain, a well-trained soldier can eject and swap thermal clips in under a second. Faced with superior enemy firepower, organic armors soon followed the Geth's lead, and today battlefields are littered with these thermal clips. So basically, Wait, hang on. I've got some swap points. So basically, in the first game, we used to. It had the weapons had thermal. Had essentially bricks, and guns had systems that would shave off exactly the right amount of material from this brick that could hold thousands of rounds to fire at an enemy. And the only so rounds were a non-issue. We didn't have to worry about ammunition at that point. But the only factor that we had to consider was thermal energy. Thermal was essentially the cooldown and heat buildup of our weapons. Now, it took weapons a long time. It took weapons several seconds, maybe it was like 5 or more, for weapons to cool down and become able to use again. Now, the Geth had essentially figured out that they could reload much faster than weapons could cool down, and so essentially we followed their lead and went back to reloadable weapons, which is why we have that system in this game now. We can reload weapons in under a second if we're well trained enough, and excuse me. And if we can fire weapons fast enough, then that ends up dealing more damage in general than weapons that fire slower but with cooldown and infinite ammo. So that's that. So where we're gonna go? We're gonna go combat mastery. Right, here we go. So disruptor ammo rips through shields and shreds synthetic targets. I feel like we need that, to be honest, at the minute, but I don't know. Adrenaline rush. So we don't have many abilities. We just have powers at the minute. Adrenaline rush hyper accelerates your reflexes, giving you time to line up the perfect shot. Okay, dope. Concussive shot. Adrenaline rush rank 2. Massive blaster propels enemies with bone crushing force. Okay, dope. Disruptor ammo. Yep. Damage health. Shadow with gunfire or biotics. Okay, dope. Combat mastery makes you tougher, stronger, faster, and more charismatic. I should probably get that, to be honest. I'm gonna get that. Yeah, mate. Your superior training improves your health, weapon damage, storm speed, and Paragon/Renegade scores. Yeah, there we go. So, couple more Paragon points now. Yeah, mate. Health plus 10%, weapon damage plus 3%, storm speed plus 20%, Paragon/Renegade plus 20%, 40% plus 70%. So this one that we'll get when we level up a few more times is Evolve Combat Mastery. Evolves Combat Mastery into one of the following. Commando, your killing intent is ever present, increasing weapon damage and storm speed and giving a damage bonus to powers. Shock Trooper, your survival instinct grants you both an intense concentration that further increases weapon damage and storm speed and gives duration to both. Okay, but I'm probably going to go for that anyway. So we've got, I'm only in my own squad at the minute, so we've got Joker has been saved, but the Normandy has been destroyed. Yeah, mate. So we've got Prologue Awakening. You've regained consciousness in some kind of medical facility. You must find your way to safety. Escape the facility. Miranda wants you to get to the shuttles. Follow her directions to escape. Sorry for this 3-hour journey. Sorry for this 3-hour journey here, Miranda. But I'm here now and ready to proceed. We came into this room to meet some Codex logs. We're going to leave right now. Right, let's go. So I'm going to complete this chapter before I end. Please do not turn off your console. I don't know if I can help it. Oh. No, sir, you might want to move. Sir, you might want to move. You kind of gave up there. Public data logs.
I can't figure Miranda out. As project director, she should be ecstatic at all the progress we've made. But she's still the same old Ice Queen.
Okie doke.
Maybe she's worried Shepard might become a new favorite. Or maybe she is just a pure cold-hearted bitch.
I don't think she's worried about that. She seems she really wanted to whoa. Hey Jacob, alright. Come on, reload. Come on, Shepard, get that under 1 second reload speed going. Oh. Get down.
What are you doing here? Thought you were still a work in progress.
I'm always a work in progress. Who are you?
Are you with Miranda?
Yeah, sorry. I forgot this is all new to you right now. I'm Jacob Taylor. I've been stationed here for—
Hostiles detected.
Oh.
Damn it!
Let's take these guys out, come on.
Things must be worse than I thought if Miranda's got you running around. I'll fill you in, but we better get you to the shuttle first.
Let's do it. Let's go. Lead the way.
It's your station, Jacob. I'll follow you.
First step, let's finish off these metal bastards.
How about we do that?
But I'm I'm a biotic. Just give the order when you want me to hit him with the good stuff.
Okay, doke. Yeah, mate. Alright, so he's in my squad now. Right, can I give him a pull? Boom, go. I mean, you knocked him into the flyer there. Access to power wheel, yeah, mate. Incendiary, nope. Select pull, yeah, mate. But can you? Oh, he's just dead. All right, let's go.
Ready to get the hell off this station?
I still have some questions.
Before we go anywhere, I need some answers.
Sure. What do you want to know?
Okay, doke. What happened to my injuries? Well, I mean, there's no way I got off that ship without any injuries.
You said they spent 2 years rebuilding me?
He didn't.
How bad were my injuries?
I'm no doctor, but it was bad. When I first saw you, you were nothing but meat and tubes. Anywhere else, they'd have put you in a coffin. But Project Lazarus was different. Cutting-edge technology.
Okay, doke. Like what?
What do you mean? Cloning? Cybernetics?
I don't know the details. You'd have to ask the scientists.
Who are currently dead.
I'm pretty sure you're not a clone. They wanted to bring you back exactly as you were. You're still you. You just might have a few extra bits and pieces now.
Okay, doke. What's Project Lazarus?
What can you tell me about the project? Were there other test subjects?
Project Lazarus only had one subject. The whole point was to bring you back. Just you. Even that was a challenge. 2 years. All the top scientists. The best technology money could buy.
Okay, doke. All right. So, who's attacking the station?
Do you know anything about this attack? Who's behind it? What they're after?
Damn if I know. I was getting ready for some shut-eye, then bam! Bunch of explosions. Next thing I know, every damn mech in the place starts shooting at us.
So something's hacked these guys.
Job. You'd need top security access to hack all the mechs.
Okay, doke. Normandy crew.
The last thing I remember is the Normandy blowing up. Did anyone else make it?
Just about everybody survived. A few servicemen from the lower decks didn't get out. Navigator Presley was killed by an explosion. But everyone else, including the non-Alliance crew, the Asari, Liara, and the Quarian, they all made it out alive.
Okay, doke. Where are they now?
Do you know what any of them are doing now?
I don't know, Commander. It's been 2 years. They've moved on. Left the Alliance. Could be anywhere.
Alright, well, when we get off the station, I need to find them.
They were my team. If they knew I was alive, they'd come back.
Maybe you can track them down after we get off the station. If we get off the station.
When we get off the station. Who are you?
What's your job here?
Depends on who you ask. Technically, I'm Miranda's top lieutenant. But I'm just a soldier. I served 5 years in the Alliance before this. Now I'm in charge of the station's security. Usually,
I can hear people alive and screaming.
Normally I don't fire my gun unless it's target practice.
Okay, doke. And who's Miranda?
When I first woke up, someone named Miranda was talking to me over the radio. We lost contact just before I ran into you.
Miranda Lawson is the station's
3 hours ago.
She led the Lazarus team. It was her job to bring you back to life, no matter what. Should have guessed she'd try to save you. She's not about to give up on you now. You said you lost contact. Could you tell what was happening?
It didn't sound good, but I think she was about to be on... No. Was she about to be under attack, or was she wanting me not to go for... I can't remember.
There was some gunfire.
3 hours ago.
Right before I lost her.
She knows how to take care of herself. But I hope she's okay.
Okay, alright, let's go.
What's the quickest way to those shuttles?
Depends where the mechs are thickest. It's probably best if we...
Check. Anyone on this frequency? Anybody still alive out there?
Wilson.
Wilson, this is Jacob. I'm here with Commander Shepard. Just took out a wave of mechs over in D-Wing.
Shepard's alive? How the hell? Never mind. You need to get him out of there. Get to the service tunnels and head for the network control room.
Okay, doke.
Roger that, Wilson. Stay on this frequency.
I think I remember a Wilson checking on me one time when I woke up.
That's him. He's the chief medical tech. Answers directly to Miranda.
Alright, let's find him. Come on, let's go.
Tunnels are this way.
Off we go. Reload. Alright, well, there's definitely going to be enemies here in 3, 2, 1. Nope. Okay, no. Alright, see you. Whoa. Nice.
Damn it, Wilson. This room is crawling with mechs.
The whole station is crawling with mechs. I'm doing the best I can.
Got him.
Wilson.
Oh, God. They found me. Help.
Let's find him. Come on. Go.
Where are you?
Server room B. Hurry. They're out of control.
Up those stairs, Shepard.
Let's go. Come on. Hurry up. Right, anything up here? Right, we've got a view open log, Cerberus laptop. Oh god, everyone's dead here.
Physical reconstruction of subject is complete, but we still need to evaluate all mental and neurological functions. Our orders were clear. Make Commander Shepard who he was before the explosion. The same mind, the same morals, the same personality. If we alter his identity in any way, if he's somehow not the man he used to be, the Lazarus Project will have failed. I refuse to let that happen.
Okay, right. Well, at least we've got that going for us. All right.
Bastards got me in the leg.
Let's get you out of there.
We need to get off this station.
I'm not going anywhere till someone fixes my leg.
Oh god, can we even do that?
In the first aid station on the wall.
Yep, let's do
Hopefully
it.
there's enough to get him up and moving again.
Yep, let's do it.
From the first aid station.
Yep, got you. Right, any logs over it? Shuttle. Yep, I didn't even get to read that. Power wheel. Select Unity. What? Where? Oh, I'm down here. Yeah. Unity, where are you? Go.
Wilson's hurt.
There you go. Come on, up you get, Chief. Oh, you actually are a chief, aren't you?
Never thought you'd save my life. Guess that makes us even now. I thought maybe I could shut down the security mechs, but whoever did this fried the whole system. Completely irreversible.
We didn't ask what you were doing. Why do you even have security mech clearance? You were in the bio wing.
Weren't you listening? I came here to try and fix this. Besides, I was shot. How do you explain that?
You're all strangers to me. Let's get someplace safe, then we'll sort out whose fault it is.
Right, Shepard. We need to find Miranda. We can't leave her behind.
Yeah, why would he have clearance?
She was over in D-Wing. The mechs were all over that sector. There's no way she survived.
A bunch of mechs won't drop Miranda. She's alive.
Then where is she? Why haven't we heard from her? There are only two possible explanations. She's either dead, or she's a traitor.
First off, she's not a traitor. Second, nah, doesn't seem like she's. Why are you so quick to deflect blame onto somebody else?
Then why did you wake me up and warn me about the attack?
Okay, maybe she's not a traitor, but that doesn't change the facts. We're here, she's not. We need to save ourselves. The shuttle bay is only a few.
Hang on, let's deal with them. First off, incendiary, no. Is already using the timer, yep, right, sure. Overload, nothing. Does it do anything there? Synthetic enemies, full, boom.
That's it, let's get out of
here. Oh wow, that was good. Literally overload, just destroy those guys.
Took him down, but this is getting tense. Shepard, if I tell you who we work for, will you trust me?
Yeah, mate.
It really isn't the time, Jacob.
You do it, man.
Make it if he's expecting a shot in the back.
If you want to piss off the boss, it's your ass, Jacob.
Tell me what you will.
Project, the program that rebuilt you. It's funded and controlled by Cerberus.
That's I know Cerberus. Why would they save me?
I wiped out my share of Cerberus projects when I was a Spectre. Back then they were trying to kill me. Why the change of heart?
Those answers are way above my pay grade. But basically, things change. The Alliance declared you dead. They gave up. Cerberus spent a fortune to bring you back. Look, I'd be suspicious too, but right now we have to work together. I thought you deserved to know what's what.
Okay.
Once we're off the station, I'll take you to the elusive man. He'll explain everything. I promise.
Okay. Alright. Who's he?
Elusive man. Is he in charge of all this?
Yeah. That's not his real name, of course. Nobody knows who he really is.
It was a code name the Alliance used for him. Kinda stuck.
Okay, fine, let's go.
Well, if I won't get any more answers here, let's get moving.
It's
yeah, so
shuttle bay.
Okay. Follow the first contact war and enormous. Oh wait, okay, we've got more codex log. God damn it! Alright. But yeah, no, so we've got so see, I'm going to be going for more. I'm not going to be going for the middle option. I'm not going to go for the middle option if unless I think it's right. But I'm almost never going to be going for the renegade option because the renegade options are usually just you being a dickhead for no reason. But I'm not going to go for the top option just because I know it's the Paragon option. If I think that the middle option is more rational, I'm going to go for that one. It's like, yeah, fine, I'll never work for Cerberus. It's like, no, I'll never work for Cerberus. It's like, well, we're not working for Cerberus yet, are we? We just need to get off the stage. It's like, it's just being pragmatic and time sensitive. We don't need to in a 3-hour video. It's like, well, okay, but we're not going to get any more answers here, are we? Let's not worry about whether or not we're working for Cerberus until we're out of this facility. You know, priorities.
Immediately following the First Contact War, an anonymous extranet manifesto warned that an alien attempt at human genocide was inevitable. The manifesto called for an army, a Cerberus, to guard against invasion through the Charon Relay. Derided as survivalist rhetoric written by an elusive man, the manifesto and its anonymous author soon fell off the media radar. But in 2165, terrorists stole antimatter from the SSV Geneva. The sole figure arrested named his sponsor Cerberus. Throughout the 2160s and 2170s, alleged Cerberus agents assassinated politicians, sabotaged starships bearing Ezo, and conducted nightmarish experiments on aliens and humans. Denounced as human supremacist, Cerberus calls itself human survivalist.
Of course it would.
Counter-terror experts speculate Cerberus may have changed leadership with its recent shift to stockpiling ships, agents, and weapons. Whether he, she, or they, the elusive man hides his finances hidden behind shell companies. Few doubt he will kill anyone attempting to expose him.
Okay. Alright. Interesting. So, the elusive... He doesn't kill people that are attempting to expose him, I assume, to ward off Paragon options. Yeah, mate. Yep. Okay, alright, cool. Data pad. Excellent. Okay, that's just you. Alright. Sound recovered. Let's go. Alright. Door over here. Got it. Alright, there's mech up there. Hang on. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Oops. Run forward and get these guys. Right, let's get up here. Reload. Alright, mech. Whoa. Overload. No, not you, you fool. Right, there you go. That's down. Got it. Shields recharge. Laptop access personal logs.
Test subject has been recovered, but the damage is far worse than we initially feared. In addition to the expected burns and internal injuries from the explosion, subject has suffered significant cellular breakdown due to long-term exposure to vacuum and sub-zero temperatures. Despite the extent of the physical trauma, Wilson assures me subject is salvageable. The Lazarus project will proceed as planned.
Okay, alright, so we didn't land on the planet, and so we were found by Cerberus near the wreckage of the Normandy quite a while actually after the well, it said long-term exposure, so it was quite a while after the Normandy was destroyed. Datapad access. Gonna retrieve. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're gonna hack this thing. Highlight individual nodes to find matching symbols. When you found two matching symbols, select them to complete the circuits. Complete all circuits before you run out of time. Pass. Okay, alright. Here we go. Oh, start bypass. Okay, alright. Yep, you. Wait, okay, wait. So that's, yep, you. Alright. Got you. Boom. Done. I see. Easy stuff. Some credits. Nice. Let's go. Righty then. Docking station. So these are the shuttles then, won't they? Am I going to have to fight a big mech before I get in here? Because I only have 11 bullets.
Come on, through here. We're almost at the... Miranda, but you were...
Dead?
What the hell are you doing?
Hi?
My job. Wilson betrayed us all.
Now you can't question him.
You should have taken him alive. See what he knew.
Too risky. I've put too much time and effort bringing you back to life to let you get killed now.
You really think Wilson's capable of that?
Yeah, no. Come on now.
Not anymore.
Even if you're sure, did he deserve that welcome?
He sabotaged the security systems, killed my staff, and he would have killed us.
He wouldn't have gotten the chance.
We've known Wilson for years. What if you're wrong?
I'm never wrong. I thought you'd have learnt that by now, Jacob.
Alright, what happens now?
If you say so. What's our next step?
We get on the shuttle and go. My boss wants to speak to you.
You mean
All
the
right.
elusive man? I know you work for Cerberus.
Ah, Jacob. I should have known your conscience would get the better of you.
Lying to the commander isn't the way to get him to join our cause.
Well, since we're getting everything out in the open, is there anything else you want to ask before we go, Commander?
Why'd you bring me back? Location during the attack. Alright, so where are we?
Convenient that you show up as we're leaving. Where were you during the attack?
Besides trying to save your life?
Besides
I
that.
figured out I was helping you when he sent an army of mechs to take me out. I got here as soon as I could. Probably a little too soon if you ask Wilson.
Yeah, mate. So, I can still hear screaming. Other survivors?
What about the rest of the people on the station?
This is the evac area. If they're not here now, they're not coming.
Some might have survived. We can go back and get them.
Knowing for sure. We need to go back and look.
Don't you get it? The only one worth saving is you. Everyone else is expendable.
She's right.
Then you didn't bring me back for a good reason, did you?
Signed up. Without you, there's no point to any of this.
Well, then we'll go back and I'll make sure I survive. Where are we going?
Where are we going?
Another Cerberus facility. The elusive man is waiting for you there.
Alright, and what happens if I don't come along?
I'm not sure I trust you.
This is the only shuttle off the station. You want to stay and rot with the mechs? Be my guest.
Seems like it'd be pretty out of your interest for that to happen. Destination, Lazarus Project.
You're the Lazarus Project's director, aren't you?
That's right. I put 2 years of my life into this project. Into you.
Why?
What does Cerberus want from me?
Maybe you should ask the elusive man when you meet him. He poured virtually unlimited resources into Lazarus. Obviously, he has some kind of plan for you.
Alright, let's go.
I've had enough of this station to last a lifetime.
Or 2, in your case. Come on.
Okay, doke. Yeah, so for some reason I'm expecting that thing to blow up, but no. Okay, doke. So that thing's yeah, I feel like there should have been an option for Shepard to fight the tide on that.
Before you meet with the elusive man, we need to ask a few questions to evaluate your condition.
Alright.
Come on, Miranda. More tests? Shepard took down those mechs without any trouble. That has to be good enough.
Let's get these tests over with.
Since the attack, the elusive man needs to know that Shepard's personality and memories are intact. Ask the questions.
Alright, 2 years.
Did you say 2 years? I've been gone that long?
2 years and 12 days. And you were on an operating table for most of it.
The sooner we start, the sooner we can be done. Start with personal history.
Okay. Records show you were a colony kid. Lost your parents when slavers hit Mindwar.
Yeah, mate.
You enlisted and won a medal fighting Batarians during the Skillian Blitz. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
A lot of lives depended on me holding that position. I did what I had to.
However you want to put it, it was damn impressive. I had friends who were there. Satisfied, Miranda?
Almost. Let's try something more recent.
Okay.
Vermeer, where you destroyed Saren's cloning facility. You had to leave one of your squad behind to die in the blast.
Lieutenant Caden Alenko was killed in action. It was your call. Why did you leave him behind?
Why did I leave him behind? Because there was somebody else I could save, and it was only choosing between one of them. And Ashley had the bomb that was going to destroy the facility, so it was also that choice.
I left a friend to die that day, and I didn't do it casually. But I had to save as many people as I could. Caden gave his life for the rest of the team. Without him, I couldn't have stopped Saren. He died a hero.
I understand, Commander, and I wasn't judging your decision. Everybody at Cerberus knows that cloning facility had to be destroyed.
Shepard, think back to the Citadel, after the Council died on the Destiny Ascension, and you killed Saren. What happened next?
Anderson led a new council. Well, I mean, we didn't get that. We didn't get that answer. They didn't. We don't know. It would have been Udina, but like it would have been Udina. He wouldn't have put Anderson in charge, but We didn't actually know.
With the council dead, humanity stepped into power. We formed
No, I didn't recommend him to. No, I didn't recommend anyone. That didn't happen.
Yes, Ambassador Udina is now Councillor Udina. He's done an admirable job of representing humanity's interests.
Not sure he's done enough for humanity, but I guess that's politics for you.
Your memory seems solid. There are other tests we really should run.
Come on, Miranda. Enough with the quizzes. The memories are there, and I can vouch for Shepard's combat skills personally.
I suppose you're right. We'll have to hope the elusive man accepts our little field test as evidence enough.
I'm sure he will. There we go. So where is this? It's not above Earth, surely. Talk to the elusive man. Go speak to the elusive man in the room downstairs.
Waiting for you in the other room.
How about we come back to that in a week? I'm going to read this right now, quickly. Battle of the Citadel. We could do that, right? Okay, Battle of the Citadel looks like the one that's active, so let's go. Battle of the Citadel. In 2183, a rogue spectre named Saren Arterius attacked the Citadel through a functioning mass relay hidden inside a statue in the Presidium. No, it was the statue. It wasn't. Okay, whatever. Saren brought a combined force of Krogan and Geth infantry from Ilos, timing the attack so that he would be at the Citadel's controls when the Geth fleet and his flagship Sovereign arrived. In the battle that followed, the Destiny Ascension Dreadnought evacuated the Citadel Council, but ordered the wards' arms closed, sealing them and the Geth inside an impregnable shell, cutting off any reinforcements or escape. This combative tactic would have wholly destroyed the Council fleet were it not for the actions of Commander Shepard, who had followed Saren through the relay from Ilos. Why do I keep almost saying Ilos? Led by Shepard's ship Normandy, Led by Shepard's ship Normandy, the Systems Alliance's 5th Fleet assembled under the command of Admiral Hackett and waited just outside the Citadel's closed arms. It didn't. They flew towards it, and then the arms open. Whatever. Meanwhile, Shepard fought Saren's forces inside the Citadel and eventually forced the ward arms open again. Shepard called for the Normandy to... See, that's... whatever. No, I'll get back to it in a minute. Shepard called for the Normandy to concentrate firepower on Sovereign. The 5th Fleet took its cue from the Normandy and turned all firepower on the Geth flagship, letting the Destiny Ascension and other fleeing Council ships perish fighting the Geth fleet. At about the same time, Shepard killed Saren, Sovereign's once impervious kinetic barrier overloaded, and the 5th Fleet focused its military might to shatter the flagship. The Geth fleet was soon decimated without its leader. With the Citadel Council and nearly everyone in its line of succession killed, humanity stepped into the power vacuum. Ambassador Donald Udina and Captain David Anderson were instrumental in pulling together a new galactic government, with humans as the dominant voice. Yeah, so exactly what I was saying. So Shepard could open the arms at any point, which was the whole point of that choice. They didn't wait for the arms to open. The arms should have just been opened straight away. God damn it, right. Journal, no. Prologue, Awakening, talk to the elusive man. Go speak to the elusive man in the room downstairs. How about we save it here, because we god damn, alright, no. That's about all the time I've got for today, because I'm well overdue. I hope you guys had about as much fun as I did. If you're any games you'd like to see me play, feel free to suggest them down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, have a great time!